didn't have a Rams game yesterday, and we got a quick crack out of the box, Lee. That's
well, I mean, you cleared your voice very well. Maybe it was too aggressive.
Perhaps.
I think you were just crying because of the
little emotional. Little emotional. I mean, I'm not going to lie. JT leaving, it hit you a little bit in the feels. I'm not going to be sobbing all day, but that's kind of a bummer. Like JT a lot.
It's one of your guys. And he's one of the Dodger guys.
All of that. It was a lot. We'll do it. AD went down again. My goodness, it's been a mess. And we saw literally the dumbest game and the dumbest play in the history of the NFL, both on the same weekend. There's a lot going on right now, Al.
I don't know. I thought the play call, it made sense to me. I really did. It's the first lateral, that one not as much. The second one, I thought, okay, now I know where you're going here. Now I know where you're taking this.
I've watched it, I don't know how many times, 10, 15, 20, 1,000, something like that.
That's one of those where you're trying to figure out, every time you see it, like, okay, no, something might make sense.
Yes.
No,
not make sense. Every time you see it, you see something dumber than the first time you saw it. There is no making sense. Sometimes people just do stupid things, and that was that for sure. We'll get to that. Raider fans, feel free to weigh in. Like, the Raiders have gone through quite an emotion in the last couple of games. They had the collapse against the Rams, and then they were basically gifted a win against the Pats. It's a weird time to be a Raider fan for sure.
No complaining on Saturday football, I'll tell you that much. You know, you stack me a couple games on a Saturday, but that's the right Saturday to do it. You know what I mean? That the college football, you pretty much already had all your big games. If you're trying to mix in with all that, maybe I'm not going to like it as much, even though I would still prioritize NFL game over a college game. But Saturday was a perfect, just give me a few of these games throughout the day.
It's the right way to do it. Look, once college football's over, we can do
it's done.
Here's what's coming up. You got Thursday night football, one game.
Yep.
You've got Saturday football this upcoming week. You got 11 games this upcoming Saturday. You have 11 games, NFL games. You have 3 on Sunday because it's Christmas.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
and then you've got another Monday night game. So you've got football on 4 out of 5 days, starting on Thursday. It's a great way to do it. How are you feeling, by the way? You feeling better?
Feeling better.
Good.
Feeling better. It's funny. And I'm going to go back to something of the World Cup yesterday, but before I do it, I had one of those. What do you think indicated to me that I'm not feeling good? And this actually started on Thursday, so I took the day off on Thursday, and then I was off. What's our one indicator that you and I have talked about?
Sleep?
Not sleep. This one's a little bit more simple.
Chills?
What are you drinking there? What are you drinking there?
You didn't want to drink coffee.
I didn't want coffee.
Yeah, that's a telltale.
That is an indicator like no tomorrow. On Thursday, I'm like, goes like, hey, you want me to make you a cup of coffee? I'm like, no.
Was your throat bothering you? Were you listless? Were you lethargic? Did you suffer from malaise? These are all the things that doctors will ask you.
Throat was bothering me, but more than anything else, I had no energy.
That's lethargy, malaise.
I had no energy at all. It was like just walking. Now, I had plenty of energy to eat. That didn't seem to be an issue.
That's good.
Why do I eat worse when I'm not feeling good?
Because you're trying to medicate with fat and salt, like we all do. It's wonderful. It's a great way to do
it.
It's either you eat worse or you eat just salty.
I was just going to say, it's one or the other. It's either you, for some reason, consume 3,000 calories that includes pizza and a burrito.
You are not sick to your stomach.
Not sick to my stomach.
Then you're gonna hit it with pizza and burritos and cheeseburgers and French fries and all of the things that because those things make you feel good typically. Yeah. So when you're feeling a little less than good, instead of taking Tylenol or Pedialyte, you say, you know what sounds good? Double cheeseburger, fries, and a Coke. That's how you kind of medicate and go through that. And by the way, it works sometimes. Not all the time.
But how funny is
helps.
that? I will eat the burrito, but then I'm like, no on the coffee. How does this make any sense?
It doesn't, but it does. You know, like I know I know exactly what you're talking about because you would think the burrito would make you feel lousy, but it does. And I bet, can I make a prediction?
Sure.
Or a guess, I should say. I bet you and as you're eating that burrito, you're like, I feel a little bit better. You finish the last bite, and you're like, I feel pretty good. Yep. And then 5 minutes later, you're like, nope, I feel like crap. Is that about how it goes?
It's like you were sitting next to me.
Right?
It's like we were having a conversation.
Yeah.
I did spend a lot of time laying on a couch. That was nice.
Can't beat it. Until they get to the point like the second day, you're like, no, this sucks. I need to get up and move just a little bit.
Yeah, when she basically is like, I looked for 2 days. I think I looked and felt like I hadn't worked in about 6 months. It's like, want to get in that shower here for a quick second? What do you think?
Full grow a beard. You had to shave it off.
You did,
what do you think, bud?
Curled up on a blanket. Did you get to the point where you felt like you needed to Not that you can, but you don't need to wash the couch. That's how you know you've been there way too long, right? Where you sit there, you're maybe a little bit sweaty.
I don't think I've ever heard that.
You have did you have the heat on in your place?
A heater was on.
You have the heater
but I was
on.
not sweating.
You got a sweatshirt on,
I had
maybe?
more the chills.
You under a blanket?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
The whole
so
thing.
you're the whole thing,
Yeah.
and then you're sitting on the couch like, I really haven't moved here for multiple hours. This thing's getting a little Sliwa-fied. And you feel like you want to wash the whole thing, but you got to Febreze it or Lysol or whatever. You got to attack.
I got to air it out. Candles everywhere.
How did Rookie handle it? Was he still trying to like jump on you and
Rookie
everything?
was chilling.
Is he comforting you?
No, he was chilling. He's like, well, if you're not going to work, I'm not going to work. I'm like, you don't go to work either way. I did take him for a walk on Friday, just kind of like a short walk around the block. And I was looking outside. I'm like, wow, it's nice out here. Is this what the outdoor looks like?
Yeah, it's time to reset, recalibrate. It's always nice to get outside after a day or two on the couch.
Do you I didn't take anything. I didn't take any medicine.
Did you have a
NyQuil,
fever?
this, that. No, I had a little bit of the chills, but I didn't feel like I had a fever. I just felt like like I said, just no energy. Throat was kind of.
You took medicine. You just didn't take any pharmaceuticals. You took the burrito cure.
Well,
You
I
took the
yeah. I
pizza.
took that
Did you get
stuff.
some pizza in there too?
I'm not kidding. Literally pizza and a burrito.
There had
That
to be
was
some
the-
French
the
fries in
mix.
your weekend at some point.
No fries.
Oh, really?
No fries.
Upset.
Yeah.
No burger?
fries. No burger either.
All right.
No.
You get
I had
the-
plenty of other stuff.
There's those are the top line items. You
Yeah.
got the burrito, you got the pizza, burger, fries.
But
Did you have a
I'm-
little Coke or 7-Up or something to try to just kind of bounce back a little bit?
I didn't have that.
Yeah.
Just because in the fridge I got sparkling water, kombucha, whatever the hell is in there.
Kombucha on a bad
No, it's
bad
not. Yeah, it
stomach,
wasn't
that
the
seems like
best.
a bad choice.
Yeah, it wasn't the best.
You shouldn't do that.
But I literally, the moment I said, hey, I don't want coffee, I'm like, something's wrong here.
Who filled in for you on the Lakers?
Sliwa.
Oh, interesting.
Sliwa did.
So
on
you
Friday
rallied
night.
in time for Friday night.
What am I doing? I'm literally sitting there. Mic on for
I mean,
1 hour. Michael talk.
I'm just glad that you were able to rebound in time to get that done.
I got it done.
We had tamales. It was
Yeah,
great.
Beto brought tamales.
You know what? I saw that. Am I right or wrong on this one? You were out. Before Thanksgiving, day before Thanksgiving. And I'm doing a show with Beto, and I'm saying to myself, I'm like, am I crazy here? I thought, am I right or wrong on this? You don't like tamales, right?
Typically, they're not my favorite thing. These were terrific. They were fantastic.
So we've had that conversation before where you're
Yes.
like, hey, these tamales are overrated.
They're one of those things that I never order. I never go out of my way to find. I eat them regularly because people constantly bring them to work and other places, and so I'm exposed to them a
It'd
lot.
be rude to not eat them, you know?
But I'll always try because people always look at me like I'm crazy when I say that they're not my favorite. These were really, really
Why?
good. I don't know. They had more meat. They had more of the salsa, the filling, less massa.
That's got to be the reason why.
That was
because if it's all
huge.
masa, then it's like all
It's
right,
like
well,
eating a big dough ball.
But if you
these
have,
were great.
if it's filled correctly,
Ratio.
for me, I've never had a tamale.
Did you?
and say I
You
don't
ate
like
the
it,
last one,
so-
right?
Delicious.
Really good, right? Yeah.
All right, that's solid.
There was green chili and cheese. There was a chicken and red sauce. They were quite good. They were very, very, very. One had a chili in it, like a poblano chili in the middle.
That was like the real test. I'm like, wait a minute, is Trav going to like this or is he not going to like it?
That was on the heels of going out on Thursday night to Mastro's with Key and Chris and Jorge.
Okay.
So I was filled up to here
No
with,
buttercake,
with
though.
food, just absolutely stuffed to the gills.
But you came back. This is the one thing I respect.
It's what
about
greats
you.
do. You got to muscle through, even when you're not feeling your best.
You could have
You're the
said
Messi of eating food.
you could have
Yes.
said on Friday morning, you know what, guys, I had a big dinner last night, but you didn't do that.
No. I mean, if somebody
Fought
puts
through it.
tamales in front of me, I'm certainly going to try them. So Michael Thompson called me yesterday at about 7:10. Okay, I was not near my phone, so I come back, I see a missed call from Michael, no message, pocket dial, whatever. Then at about 8:30, the
Yep.
phone rings again. I wasn't near my phone. I missed it a second time.
Yeah.
No message. It had to be because of the World Cup, right? Was he
Okay.
calling me just to troll
Oh,
me
yeah.
for Messi?
This came up yesterday. Michael said, hey, what's going on with your boy? I'm like, I don't know what's going on with my boy. He's like, I called him and Andy Kamenetsky to remind them that the World Cup is on.
Yeah. I
Okay.
figured it was World Cup related.
So he said, I'm like, all right, well, he called you back, right? Or did he text you? He's like,
He
no.
never texted me.
He said that you
Oh.
ghosted him.
Well,
And he
kinda,
said, I
yeah.
probably call Trav. This is exactly what he said. So I probably call Trav once every 10 years.
It's about right.
And here I am calling him, and nothing. Not even a, hey, I saw that you called. Do you need
I'm
something?
gonna text him right now.
So Michael was very confused why he got nothing.
It's because Travis doesn't care about soccer, and he knew it was soccer.
Well,
and
it's
that's
so
all-
here.
Yeah, but it's Michael. You're, you're a big fan of Michael.
Oh, I love Michael. Michael's
that's-
one of my all-time favorites.
So that's why it was, I think, very confusing to Michael
I should have
why
called
he
him,
got
but,
ghosted.
But see, okay, there was a method to my madness.
Okay.
The method to my madness was I knew what it was about. I knew that it was World Cup related. I know that the game was, by all accounts, terrific.
Yeah.
That Argentina wins it in PKs.
Yep.
They went up a couple of goals. They lost their lead. They fell behind. They tied. I understand it's one of the great World Cup
Amazing.
finals of all time. Great. Yes.
Couldn't script it any better, Travis.
Great. I don't need someone to yell at me why something I don't care about is something I need to care about. And that was Michael's purpose. Michael was going to call and say, see, I told you this is, but, and I don't want to argue with Michael because I love Michael. And
well,
I
it
want
was
to have
7:10 in the morning.
Right.
So there's no argument yet because
No.
the game
But
had just started.
But it would have been one of those, are you watching it? No. Why not? Because I don't care. Well, don't you want to see this? No. But you're missing that whole conversation. I don't care. It
So-
was great. If you do care, and
Yeah.
the royal you, right, everybody, great. I'm
Yeah.
not telling you not to like it. I'm saying it wasn't for me.
So here's my question. So Michael did feel like he was ghosted because he was ghosted. My question to you is, did you see any of the game live or no?
Yeah, I turned it on at around 7:30, and Argentina was ahead 2-0. I'm like, well, that's over, and I turned it off. And then when my phone started to blow up again, like, are you watching this? I'm like, I'm already kind of out.
Okay, so you're done. We're not going to talk to you.
And this is like missing that
No,
Monday
we're
Night
done.
Football game
We're
between
done.
the Rams
I'm not.
and
Here's the thing.
No, it's
here's
not,
the thing.
because I like football.
We should not try to sell Travis.
Thank you.
If
It was amazing.
if you cannot enjoy yesterday's World Cup, then there's no need to try to make the argument. That was arguably the greatest soccer match I've ever seen, and the fact that
so
it was
good.
the fact that it was the final of a World Cup, and it was the two stars that were doing it, that was awesome.
Travis, don't.
But I don't
want
want to. But I don't want to sell. I don't want to sell him on it because
Come on.
if you're not coming back the next day and saying, you know what, that was a freaking really
I'm
good
glad
match.
people liked it.
That was a really good soccer
It's a goat match.
The fact that it wasn't 0-0, as you know, we said that it didn't just go to pit. That there was actually scoring. If you don't like it, then there's no. It's okay. It's just it's not for you.
That's the right answer.
It's for
not
the other
me.
5 billion people around
That's
the world.
fine.
But that's okay.
Fine. That's great.
You missed a great game.
I'm sure.
Travis, you should have
missed a great game.
It was so. It was like if you love sports, you love the story.
But
and
don't-
I have a feeling Taylor's more on my side on this one.
I didn't watch any of it.
Yeah.
Nothing,
Come on,
Taylor.
guys.
Not a second. Was it
Like
good?
if I told you
amazing.
that there was a rodeo, okay, that was the best rodeo that anyone had ever seen, and that people all over the world
These are
were
our
super
American
fu-
counterparts,
No,
everybody.
Hold on. That
The
everybody
ugly
was
American.
very excited about the best rodeo they'd ever seen. What would your reaction be?
Nah, this is
What do you mean, nah?
Now we're
I'm
talking.
not interested.
But it's the goat rodeo guy. And I don't
Yeah,
know,
it's the
like,
greatest.
But you were
it's-
interested when the games were on in the background. You'd kind of walk
it's
away.
on in here.
The Mace would come on. We do super crosstalk, and you would be like, "Oh, that was great! What a shot!
It's exciting.
What is this?"
It's fine. It was over, and then it's.
That was awesome.
I expected
I'm
you
not
to be
saying it
writing your
wasn't
speech.
awesome. I'm saying I don't care that it was awesome. There's a difference. Like this is the soccer thing that people do, where they get very excited about it. Not
no.
you.
It's the
beautiful
I'm
game.
The beautiful game. Why don't you like this? Because I don't. Some
Yeah.
people don't like chocolate ice cream. I'm not going to yell at them for not liking it.
But you could. This is the part that I hope you can do. You could appreciate how big that was yesterday. Correct? You could appreciate
Sure.
that was a good game yesterday. Correct?
Yeah.
No, you can't. It's
Yeah.
okay.
No, I know that it was important to a lot of people. I know that it was
Do you know
the
what was-
crowning
do you know
achievement
what's
of
awesome?
Messi's career.
Did you grab? We got to play that, dude. Did
We
you
will.
grab that call?
It's Andres Cantor.
All right, so we'll play that a little bit later. But I don't know if you guys watch this. Why do I love just seeing they have these live, the Argentina crowd or audience, whatever it is. This is all in Buenos Aires. Did you guys see just literally?
full.
What's that?
Streets full in Buenos Aires.
But they just left
Nice
Associated
pronunciation right there, by the way.
Associated Press left that thing on for like 7 hours.
Just the live shot.
Just the live shot for
That's
7
cool.
hours, and it's going from different angles. But it's during the game, Trav. It's during the game, and then it's like they won, and then it's 3 hours later, and then 5 hours later, and 7 hours later. Insane.
I lived
Insane.
in Argentina. Maybe I would feel differently, but
And-
I don't, so I don't.
Before we break, I just am hoping that you've written up your speech as Messi, that you're ready to give your
Look,
hold
I
up the
did.
cup.
I did get a bunch of tweets as the match was unfolding. People telling me that I can't watch the World Cup anymore because every time I see him, I think of you doing the voice, which is really the only thing I really ever wanted.
Does
in the
his
world.
voice change now? I mean, you feel like he's hit puberty.
If anything, it's higher. He's super excited. He
should've
just won the World Cup.
You should have done the play-by-play on 7-10
I'll leave up that up to Andres. I'm glad that everybody liked it. Great.
It was good.
I'm sure it was.
It was really good.
Sure it was. The PKs and comebacks and all sorts of things, and the two Mbappe and Messi. See, I know all the
But the
relevant
Cowboys
actors.
and Jaguars.
That was fun. I watched most of that. I watched the Chargers. I watched the Raiders. I watched Sunday Night Football.
When World Cup ended and they said we have to leave to go to the NFL,
Didn't they get out real quick?
right away I'm like,
Yeah.
guys, I don't think anybody really cares about this game coming up at 10 a.m.
You know who does?
I didn't care.
Fox. And all the people that paid their money to advertise on
Their
the NFL.
rights fees.
Yeah. No,
The timing
they
of
do.
it was a little.
What are you going to do? They got it in. Let's flip it over to
They did,
FS1.
actually. By the way, they literally got it in right in time.
All right, we need to talk about what the Raiders were given last night, what the Patriots did to them, and we'll maybe even get to Monday Night Football. The Rams have one tonight. The Baker Mayfield experience in 0-degree weather. What's that going to look like? It's all coming up. It's Trav and Slee, 710.
Hey, Laker fans, John Ireland here. Have you downloaded the new ESPN LA app? You got to get this thing. It's great. You can get Travis and Sliwa, Mason and Ireland, Sedano and Cap, and all of our Lakers talk with Slee right in the palm of your hand.
You're just one tap away from everything Lakers. You could even win Lakers tickets.
React to the Lakers on ESPN LA app.
Download the new ESPN LA app in the App Store or on Google Play.
Hey, Rams fans, Travis Rogers here. You have got to get the new ESPN LA app. In fact, let's go down to the locker room and get a little help.
What's up, Rams fans? This is Matthew Stafford. React to the Rams on the new ESPN LA app.
This is Cooper Kupp of the Los Angeles Rams. Listen to all your Rams talk on the ESPN LA app.
You are just one tap away from Rams All Access. Travis and Slee, Mason and Ireland, and Sedano and Cap. Download it now on the App Store or Google Play. 16 degrees. Is that what you
chilly.
said? 16 degrees in Green Bay right now. It's supposed to snow.
We got a lot of our peeps taking partners to the game tonight. And these
take them to Arizona to watch the Cardinals.
most of them are exactly like us, born and raised in Southern California. They're going to be at Lambeau for a 16-degree, and that's just it's only going to go down. We get closer to
it'll get dark.
kickoff.
Yeah, I mean, so I may have told you the story. Have you ever been to Lambeau Field?
I have not.
So I've been once. And it was for the NFC Championship game after the 96 season. So it's early January 1997. It's the Panthers and the Packers, right? It's the Kerry Collins Panthers that are in the NFC Championship game. Like you just said, I've lived here in L.A., Santa Barbara, and Phoenix at this point in my life. Okay, these are the only three places I've ever lived. Not a place that gets a lot of snow.
It was raining in Lake Arrowhead, and you were driving from Palm Desert a week ago, and both of us were like,
it's over.
It's why
over.
even go any further?
So this was the first indicator that this was going to be a totally different animal. So we're walking through the tailgates outside of Lambeau Field, right? Taylor, you've probably experienced this at some point in your life. And somebody says to me, "Hey, can I grab you a beer?" I'm like, "Yeah, that sounds great." They disappear for a couple of minutes, and they come back and hand me the beer and start drinking it. And I'm like, "Where'd you go to get that beer?" They're like, "Oh, we had to go get him out of the car." I said, what do you mean you had to get him out of the car? He goes, "Well, if we leave him out here, they'll freeze." My entire life, the goal has been to keep beer as cold as possible for as long as possible. And out there, if you have them outside, they will freeze solid and they're undrinkable. So they have to keep them in a heated car in the cooler so they don't freeze. That was the first point, like, okay, this is a little different.
Same for kegs.
You say, yeah, I mean, sure,
Leave
right?
your kegs out, it can get bad, too.
So we go into the stadium. It had snowed a bunch of days in a row leading up to the game.
Of course it did.
It was not snowing the day of the game, but all of the snow in the stadium, so where you sit, they push all the snow off of the benches but into where your feet would be, right? They don't remove all the snow. They just move it off the benches. And as you're going in, they give you a little piece of cardboard. So basically the idea is you're supposed to put the cardboard on the snow and kind of smash it down so your feet aren't up to your knees in snow. Theoretically, that's supposed to keep your feet out of the snow. Didn't really help all that much. I had on real boots. Like they gave me a pair of boots. It's about 10 degrees. It was a beautiful day. It was sunny. It was nice. But it was so unbelievably cold. You have on a t-shirt.
This was a day game?
This was, I probably kicked off at 3 o'clock, something like that. So you have on your shirt, then you have on a sweatshirt, then you have on a coat, a heavy coat, scarf, gloves, hat, the whole thing, as warm as you can. You're frozen to the core. There is no getting warm in that. And everybody's dressed like that, right? So think about how wide I am under the best of circumstances. Now put on a sweatshirt, another jacket, and then a big heavy coat and everything else. So now you
had half the row.
20. Everybody, if you need to get up and go to the bathroom, everybody needs to stand up at the same time. It's like wedging things into a thing. You have to take them all out for anybody to move. It was so miserable. It gets colder and colder and colder the longer the day goes. By the end of the day, all you do is want the game to end, to go back into the hotel, to warm up, to have something hot to drink, all of these things. It was a wonderful, wonderful experience that I will never forget, and I will never do it again. There is nothing about that I need to re-experience.
Do that again or watch France-Argentina from start to finish?
Oh, I'd rather watch a soccer game than do that again. It was...
We're getting somewhere.
Bitter
Progress.
Bitter cold.
And then imagine
That
them throwing
sounds
snowballs
awful.
and stopping the game because they're trying to hurt the other team.
You can barely even watch the game. I'm sure the local Wisconsinites were fine. They're used to it, and ice fishing and deer hunting in the snow and all these things. All I could do is just
I'm not kidding. It sounds
go
miserable.
faster. Go faster. Please run the clock. Let's just get this entire thing over. And there's guys out there running around sleeveless, the whole thing. It was an unbelievably miserable experience. And tonight, you're going to get it all over again, only it's between a 4-win team and a 5-win team. So unlike an NFC championship with a Super Bowl berth on the line, this is a matchup between two really bad teams.
I know this isn't the first time it's happened this year, but do you remember when the schedule came out for the Rams? And we're looking at, my gosh, this is going to be a really good game in late November. Wow, look at all these good matchups in December. Wow, the Chargers and the Rams, what would be at stake? What the hell happened this year? Well, this game, it's like you just set it all up, the way you just described how brutal it is being at one of these games. And listen, I've been at games in December at Qualcomm Stadium. I know what it's like when it's 64 degrees. But the way you just set it up, and then on top of that, you have two teams that are just
bad teams.
There's nothing.
Bad teams. Not only did the ESPN and the league get a bad Monday night game in the middle of the cold, the Rams have 6 standalone games this season, 4 of them in the month of December. So this is not just that they had a bunch of games where they're the only ones. The entire league assumed that they'd be good again. 4 standalones one of them's January 1st. We're going to count that as December.
Yeah.
4 of them. 4 of them. Now, hopefully they get flexed out of Sunday night against the Chargers. And that it hasn't happened
That actually
yet
might
is
be
a miracle.
I don't know what the other games are, but the Chargers are.
It could be meaningful
They
for the
found
Chargers.
themselves in the mix, which 3 weeks ago you would have thought they're not in the
Okay,
mix.
so that brings us to this. The Chargers looked really good yesterday. Justin Herbert had a couple of great drives, made a couple of great throws, good decision-making. Like, the Chargers beat a decent team down the stretch, kicked a game-winning field goal, the whole thing. It is so classic, and I'm sure that you've experienced this emotion 1,000 times as your former life as a Charger fan. Like last time, the Chargers may be dangerous. The Chargers may do some work here. They have the quarterback. They seem like they're getting healthy at the right time. All of their best players are making big plays. Here's who they have left. Rams, Denver, Indy. They got 3 crappy teams towards the end of the line. They could play Kansas City in the first round of the playoffs. Like, everything's kind of setting up for them to have a little bit of a noisy finish. Are they going to do it? Because this is where they typically faceplant, right?
So they're 8-6 now. Miami's 8-6. Patriots, after their idiotic loss yesterday, they're 7-7. The Jets are 7-7. It's actually set up for them. Every time I bring up, you tell me if this is a good comp or not.
3 lousy teams.
Every time I bring up this team in the NBA, you say, Al, why are you bringing them up?
Clippers.
They've never done anything.
Yeah.
Is the Clippers.
Sure.
And I think naturally it's okay to say, use the Chargers as an example. No, Chargers find ways to lose games, critical situation. I think they're actually going to make the playoffs. If you'd have told me 3 weeks ago that they're not going to make, or if you'd have told me 3 weeks ago they're going to be in the playoffs, I'd be like, you got to have a lot of things go your way. And on top of that, Chargers, you have to win you have to win close games. You have to win some tough games along the way. I think now they make the playoffs. And part of it has to do with they did get healthy, and they were beat up like crazy.
Herbert in particular. Herbert looks like a different guy now that his ribs have finally healed.
And some of his weapons, right?
Sure.
Whether it's Keenan or Mike Williams. But I think they make the postseason. Do I think they make much noise? Probably not. But in the NFL, it's like anything can happen. You just got to get in there. And for us, you and I spent a lot of time talking about Brandon Staley. If he doesn't make the playoffs, is this guy out? I don't think Dean's going to go pay for another guy.
Did you get to watch the end of that game last night or yesterday afternoon?
Part of it. So they had. I'm in the Lakers. I'm in the media room. They actually had a split screen.
Should I take the call now?
Yeah,
it's Michael. No, go ahead. Don't finish your story.
They had a split screen going because the same time that the Raiders and the Patriots were about to finish, the Chargers and the Titans were about to finish.
Yeah.
But there's no audio to the game. But I did see the end of it.
So what was weird is all of a sudden Tennessee starts to drive, and they're going to score the game-tying touchdown. They get down inside the 5-yard line. It's like 1st and goal from the 5. Staley starts using all of his timeouts, and I'm like, what is he doing? Because at this point, get a stop, and you win the game. Or if they go for 2 and you get a stop, you win the game. I don't think anybody thought that they were going to kick that the PAT to tie the game. But we give Staley all sorts of crap for the way that he manages
good clock
the
management.
games. It was really well done. And it was different than what you typically see, where the team on offense that doesn't have any timeouts is usually trying to find ways to stop the clock. The team on defense actually stopped it for them 3 different times, let them collect and everything else. But it also got them the ball back with a little bit more than a minute to go, which for Justin Herbert, plenty of time to get it done. It was really well done.
If you're at the 15-yard line and you're using your timeouts and they still get a chance to get a first down, different. The fact that, hey, I have no use for these timeouts, I might as well use them. I'm with you.
Time's
I think
more
that
valuable than the timeouts. It was, we give him a hard time when he does something stupid. That was really, really smart and well done. And the second I get on board with them winning a playoff game is when they'll throw 4 interceptions and the whole thing will crater on top of itself. All right, back to the Raiders. What the hell? That's the tease. That's coming up next. It's Travis Slee, 710 ESPN.
Hey, Laker fans, John Ireland here. Have you downloaded the new ESPN LA app? You got to get this thing. It's great. You can get Travis and Sliwa, Mason and Ireland, Sedano and Cap, and all of our Lakers talk with Slee right in the palm of your hand.
You're just one tap away from everything Lakers. You could even win Lakers tickets.
React to the Lakers on ESPN LA app.
Download the new ESPN LA app in the App Store or on Google Play.
Hey, Rams fans, Travis Rogers here. You have got to get the new ESPN LA app. In fact, let's go down to the locker room and get a little help.
What's up, Rams fans? This is Matthew Stafford. React to the Rams on the new ESPN LA app.
This is Cooper Kupp of the Los Angeles Rams. Listen to all your Rams talk on the ESPN LA app.
You are just one tap away from Rams All Access. Travis and Slee, Mason and Ireland, and Sedano and Cap. Download it now on the App Store or Google Play.
I got two tweets for you, Travis.
Okay.
So there's one that says, this is Francis in Glendale. He says, Trav's disdain for soccer is like me when I'm told to watch Breaking Bad or Sopranos. I don't care how good it is. I just don't freaking care. That's actually pretty accurate. It's like there are things that, like, the more people push on you, the more you want to back away from it.
Francis, you should watch them. They're both really good.
It's not even the pushing so much. Guys, I've watched soccer, and occasionally it's exciting to see, and I'm sure yesterday's World Cup final match was about as exciting of a soccer match as you can find. I'm not telling you not to like it. If you like it, great. I'm happy you had a wonderful Sunday morning. I genuinely am. What I'm telling you is I've tried soccer. It's not for me. That's all. Nothing beyond that. It's just not for me. I don't understand why this is such a divisive opinion. It's just not for me. I don't really care for it.
The only example that I would have is somebody who's a big soccer fan being told, hey, you got to watch the NFL and you got to watch the Super Bowl. And then that person watching a really good Super Bowl game and saying, yeah, that did nothing for me.
Yeah.
I think a lot of soccer fans feel that way about football.
Probably.
You don't have to like everything. It's okay. There's a reason, like when you go into 31 Flavors Baskin-Robbins, they have them all lined up. You don't have to like them all.
This is a perfect example. I'm also not a big soccer guy, But I could easily get swept into the World Cup and get swept into that specific game.
I'm glad you
When
liked
USA
it.
plays, I don't want to watch because I'm like, what is this? This is not good soccer.
Yeah,
and we see the other teams, and we're like, all right.
And I'm glad everybody enjoyed themselves. I'm glad that the streets of Buenos Aires were filled with joyous celebrants.
We should go.
I like that. I would love to go there. That's a place I would like to. I never will. But I would love to. Like theoretically, I would like to go to Buenos Aires at some point in my life. I don't think I'll ever get there. Have you ever been to South America?
I have not.
No, because you kind of get around a little bit.
Yeah, I've not been to South America.
Not on the list, or just not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet?
Yeah, it will happen.
All right, so the things that I do like is I love disasters. I love disasters of self-inflicted variety in particular. The Patriots and the Raiders. First of all, the Raiders blow a big lead. What else is new? The Raiders, that's what the Raiders do. It looks like the game's going to overtime. You've all seen this, and I'm going to play these in order because this is the same play in three different places. This is what it sounded like on TV when Jacoby Myers tried to throw, a 20-yard backward lateral to the quarterback, Mac Jones.
Stanford band nowhere in sight.
Uh-oh.
It's picked off.
Uh-oh. Oh, no.
Unbelievable.
Oh, wow.
Incredible. Chandler Jones takes it in and wins the game for the Raiders. Have you ever seen an ending like that?
I have never seen anything like that. I have no idea why he was doing that. Oh, my goodness.
Okay, so that's just two guys calling the game on CBS TV that are blown away by what they've seen. This is what it sounded like on the Raider side.
And now Jacoby Myers spinning around. He throws it to Chandler Jones in midfield. And a stiff arm. Chandler Jones racing towards the end zone. He scores! Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. I can't believe what I just saw. Again. I can't believe what I just saw. This is unbelievable. Wow. On the first night of Hanukkah, it's a miracle in Las Vegas.
That's a great call.
Was that the Messi? Was that Messi?
He got up there.
Was that the okay?
He was up there for sure, but the miracle line is great, and he just saw something that was completely unexpected.
This is my favorite call.
This is the best. And the call, honestly, to me, and I'm going to set this up a little bit, there's actually a little too much emotion in the call until the very last thing that's said, and then it makes it high art.
Off the tackle, the 40, he lost the football, and Jacoby Myers picks it up. He circles back, and he throws it across the field. Mac Jones is picked up by Chandler Jones. He breaks away to the 30. He runs to the 20. He runs to the 10. He runs to the end zone. Unreal. Touchdown. Raiders.
Good night. This might be one of the dumbest teams I've ever seen.
Good night. This might be one of the dumbest teams I've ever seen.
That could be my favorite quote of any play-by-play call.
It's an amazing because he's exactly right. And when you think about NFL teams and execution and doing things the right way and not being caught up in the emotion of a moment and do your job, don't cost the team a win. That Bill Belichick's team was on the wrong side of that makes it even better. Because if this would had Jeff Saturday's team done that, and we'll get to them in a little while at some point today too, had the Raiders done it, you would have been like, yeah, this is what they do every single week of every single season. That the New England Patriots put themselves, because Al, you're going to see that play for 50 years.
Oh yeah,
you will.
Oh that one's sticking. That's sticking.
I made a list. Okay, here's the list of the dumbest things I've ever seen. This goes right on it, if not at the very top.
Okay.
The Garo Yepremian where he tries to throw a pass in the Super Bowl, the Dolphins way back there where he's getting tackled. He's never thrown a football in his life. Goes the other way for a touchdown in the Super Bowl. Okay, that's on the list. And because he literally loads and the ball goes the wrong way because he doesn't know what he's doing. Okay, that one's there. Leon Lett, right? Remember where he picks up the ball in the snow on Thanksgiving Day? Yes. No, that's the other Leon Lett one. Leon Lett's on this list twice. This was the one on Thanksgiving. It's actually snowing in Dallas. Remember they had that hole in the roof before the new one?
Yeah.
The field is covered in snow. They block a field goal at the end of the game. Just game's over.
Oh, yeah.
And he slides to try to get it. They miss it. They get the ball. They end up losing the game.
Was the other one Let too, where he...
Now, that one, though, they had such a big lead. He was just trying to style a touchdown, which was but it didn't cost him the game. That one did cost him the game. There is the Joe Pisarcik, Herm Edwards one. Remember when all they have to do is take a knee and the game's over? They decide to run a play and it comes up. Herm Edwards picks it up, runs it back, game over. That one is on the list. And now you've got what happened yesterday in Las Vegas. Go ahead. You give me any possible explanation as to why Jacoby Myers thought that throwing the ball 20 yards backwards to his quarterback was the right thing to do in a tie game.
Yeah, I was just going to say, that play is, the game is you're down, right? You're down 3. You got to get in the end zone. You're down 6. You got to get in the end zone. You're down 1. You got to get in the end zone. Only if you're down.
Right. If you're down, it makes sense.
If the game is tied, you could have that stupid of a play at the end. It is what it is. You see that all the time. All you have to do, and I'm not telling you that the Patriots were going to win the game, and they could very easily not make the playoffs because of that play. And, you mentioned something that if there's one thing that the Patriots, their I's are dotted and their T's are crossed. I mean, if we want to tie this back to Belichick or the Patriots, you can't. You got one guy. This wasn't the play. This wasn't the the fact that he has the ball in his hands in that situation because somebody threw a lateral to him, and I don't know if that ignited in his head, well, geez, now I got to throw a lateral.
But that means they were both being idiots, right? Look, I get that the first guy was Ramondre Stevenson, I think is his name.
Yeah, I think he was trying to maybe go for a touchdown by giving it to someone else.
Maybe.
Yeah.
It was stupid. The game's over. Not over. Go to overtime. You might win the toss. You might go down and
There's
score.
no explanation.
There's none. So he goes brain dead for half a second.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't give Jacoby Myers a license to go brain deader. Because here's
Jacoby Myers threw the ball 20 yards down the field.
To Mac Jones.
No,
to
not
Mac Jones,
not down the field. Backwards.
Behind him to the 50-yard line. And what is Mac Jones going to do with the ball if he gets the ball 50 yards away from the end zone? What's he going to do?
There is literally no explanation for doing what they did. But I just want to play this out for a second because you're on to the right thing. Let's just, for the sake of argument, let's say that there was a player back there like Tutu Atwell for the Rams. Just blindingly fast, kind of a jitterbug, can just still a colossally stupid Tyreek Hill.
Yep.
Colossally stupid to do it, but all right, at least maybe. What is Mac Jones going to do with the ball after he catches it?
Got buried in the earth.
Did you see him try to tackle Chandler Jones? It was not only was it the dumbest decision, it was the worst tackle. Chandler Jones just shoved him over with one hand. Cut his legs, wrap him up, do anything you can.
Him down.
He literally just like when you are a young parent and you're little and you goof around with your kids, you can kind of gently set them on the ground, but you make it feel like you've kind of run. It's just that's what he did. He kind of like your little brother, your baby,
real cute,
just kind of
real cute,
it's really
buddy.
okay. Just go over here. What was he going to do if he caught it? What was the next move? This is the question I want Jacoby Myers to answer.
Good.
Not why did you throw it? What did you think was going to happen after he caught it? And by the way, your pass was 10 yards short. I want to know what's going through Chandler Jones's mind as the ball's coming to him. He's got to be thinking, wait, this isn't really happening, right? They're not really throwing me a pass right now, right? What were you thinking on all of these accounts? It was extraordinary. I've watched it 30 times.
I love his quote.
I can't get enough.
I love his quote.
Which one? Jones?
No, Jacoby Myers. Just trying to do too much, trying to be a hero, I guess. I should have went down with the ball. Oh, no, we're good now. We're good.
Okay.
That helped everything. That didn't bother every Patriot fan out there even more.
You're mistaken, indeed.
I ain't see dude back there try throwing the ball.
think?
I was just doing too much.
They were in the playoffs yesterday. They are not in the playoffs today.
Okay. Can I tell this funny story? So this is all happening. I think I mentioned to you, the TV's got a split screen on. It's got the Chargers on with the Titans, it's got the Raiders and the Patriots on the other game. And some dude, I don't know who it was, but we're in the media room, and it's pretty quiet. Yesterday, it's the Lakers and the Wizards, all right? It's not the Lakers and the Celtics. You just don't have nearly as many people as were there earlier in the week. And some dude, when that play is happening, just goes, "Oh, my gosh!" And he stands up. And everybody's, starting to look, and everyone's looking at him now. No one's even, looking at the screens anymore, right? And he's like, "Oh, my gosh." He goes, "I can't believe it." And then you see the Raiders score the touchdown. And he turns around, and now, because Billy Mack, I guess he's part of Spectrum, Billy Mack says his name and just starts clapping, right? So now other people are clapping as well.
Was it Greg?
It was not. It was not Greg. But the guy then tries explaining what happened.
You
and
can't.
He had the ball and he threw it back to the 50. I stood there so confused. I'm like, all right, well, thank you for the announcement.
I would imagine that Bill Belichick, under the best of circumstances, is terribly intimidating. Under the best of circumstances, that's a guy that you really don't want to mix it up too much with. What do you say when you go back into that locker room? What do you say to the coach? What do you say to your teammates? Do you just say, yeah, I didn't see him and I probably should have gone down? I guess that's all you can say. I still want an answer to, what did you think was Mac Jones going to go 75 yards through 11 defenders?
Michael Vick. He's Michael Vick back there. He's Lamar Jackson.
Extraordinary. Loved everything about it. Ask Slee coming up next. It's Travis Slee, 17.
Hey, Laker fans, John Ireland here. Have you downloaded the new ESPN LA app? You got to get this thing. It's great. You can get Travis and Sliwa, Mason and Ireland, Sedano and Cap, and all of our Lakers talk with Slee right in the palm of your hand.
You're just one tap away from everything Lakers. You could even win Lakers tickets.
React to the Lakers on ESPN LA app.
Download the new ESPN LA app in the App Store or on Google Play.
Trip by visiting harrissocal.com. And it is time for Ask Slee.
877-710-ESPN if you'd like to participate in an Ask Slee on the phone. 877-710-3776. I don't know why, but that makes me laugh every single time. That makes me smile. John in Huntington Beach goes first. Does Rookie have a stocking at home? Hashtag Ask Slee.
All right. She put up a stocking for him.
Did it? Is it got stuff in it
There's
yet?
There's nothing in there.
Not yet? Will there be?
Well, we have a stocking, too. We have nothing in there. I think she just did it more for decoration.
Aesthetics?
Yeah, there's.
I mean, when Santa comes, it's going to...
Well, it's not
Definitely.
Christmas yet, right?
Exactly.
You got a few days left.
Yeah, you know
Throw
what?
with tennis balls, milk bones,
That's
a
a good
leash.
idea. I should put some... Here's the problem.
That's
If
what
I
my
do
mom- that's what my
that,
mom does.
he's going to take that thing down. Like, he'll bite through the stocking to get to if there's a milk bone in there or something like that. But he's got a stocking. There's just nothing in it.
Tennis ball, maybe one of those little plastic things that you fling them with.
Tennis
maybe
balls,
he'd
he
like
goes
one of
crazy.
those.
A chew toy.
Chew toy. All sorts of options.
Is he
If I
cheating
take out, no, he's not anymore. He'll still bite the living hell out of you, but if I take out 3 or 4 balls at the same, he's going crazy. He doesn't know what to do. Doesn't know what to
TFP
do.
again says, have you ever bought Lady Slee a present that was low-key for you, too? Hashtag Ask Slee.
Yes. We've gone places where I know we're going to go together, right? So I know I'm going to enjoy the location as much as she's going to enjoy the location. So kind of trying to take advantage of that. Yes, I've done that before. I got her, this one doesn't really, I got her one of the iWatches, or the
Apple Watch
a little bit ago, but no, that
Did it
one
have
doesn't
a man's
count.
band on it?
No, that
and
one
all
doesn't
your
count.
email contacts in it?
Hey, I'm going to use this.
I had a feeling you might not like this, but I think it's something that I might be able to use.
Vacation, yeah. Vacation's kind of like one of those.
The wine fridge that we bought for our 25th anniversary was a good example of. I mean, she loves it. We've certainly put
And
it to
you
good
love it
use,
as well.
but I certainly don't mind having it. It's certainly not a bad.
How many
way to
bottles
do
of wine do you have in there right now?
it. Maybe 25, something like that.
25, and are you constantly...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, when we go to the grocery store, I mean, you're going to walk down the aisle. You're going to see something that catches your fancy, and you just grab it and put it in there.
What's the
and stick it in
oldest
fridge.
bottle?
Nothing old. We don't. This is nothing super fancy. It's
Yep.
all mid-level or lower, and just stuff we like.
All right, what's a good price range when you go get a bottle of wine?
$20.
Okay.
That's a good one for us. If you get up to 25, it's a really good one. And then occasionally for special
By the way,
occasions.
there's phenomenal bottles
Sure.
of wine that are $12.
Trader Joe's
$10,
boxed wine?
$15.
Emily, you got to stop with the box.
Do you put
Please.
your box wine in the
Like a
We
milk
put it in
carton.
the cupboard next
in
to
the
the
wine
cereal.
cooler?
Oh, yeah.
Next to the Ritz and the cornflakes. It just sits there. Anybody that wants a glass of wine or a cup, I guess, drink it out of a coffee cup. All right. John writes, neighborhood kid that lives about 8 houses over used our facilities for that instead of taking himself home quickly on his e-bike. Should I make my son do the same to even the score?
No, you should not. I thought about this. Who did we have? We had a caller last week. Remember he was talking about how he's like, yeah, I don't pick up after my dog. I'm like, come on, man. If you're going to have a dog, you got to pick up after your dog. I don't think you need to send a message by having your child go do the same thing as the other kid.
I give the kid that was at John's house a lot of credit because usually at that age, if you're away from your home base, you can get a little skittish. It's hard to kind of
He was comfortable.
pull the trigger.
He
in
was
a foreign
comfortable.
Yeah, just like
He had
John.
no problems with it.
You should tell his son, hey, come over here, Junior. Listen. Remember when Dave was over here the other day? Not cool. So what I need you to do is I need you to eat a bunch of bran flakes and head on over to Dave's and just wait until go over there, play a little video games, and when it's time, I need you to even it up. The John Day Fullerton family name is at stake.
Even up the score.
It seems oddly aggressive, no?
Very aggressive.
What's the optimal length for a phone charger? Hashtag Ask Slee.
3 feet.
Ooh, no, it's got to be longer than that. 3 feet's only about that long.
All right, so I'll tell you where I charge my phone all the time. My phone always charges in the car.
Okay.
If you get 6 feet, I basically can go all the way to the trunk. All right, so I don't need
What
that.
if you ever get snatched and you get stuffed in your own trunk and you need to charge? What about that?
I'll have to deal with that. I'll be 3 feet short.
So overnight, no?
Overnight,
You don't charge it next to the bed?
no. No, I never do.
Juice for the day.
It's a Pixel, man.
Well, it's actually the Pixel has made it more confusing because everywhere I went before, there was always, the regular charger.
Plenty of options.
Everywhere. This one is a little bit more complicated, but in the car, I do all of my charging. 3 feet, that's plenty. I don't need extra.
In the car, 3 feet is good, but at home, I'm going to need that additional 6 feet.
Mine hangs on the edge of the table.
You know what I don't like?
And if I need to text, I have to uncharge it.
But that's what I don't like.
Yeah, you're right.
If I decide to pull it and put it in my left hand or something, now it's come out. Now
I just go like this.
It's you move your whole body over to the side. All right, one more here. It's from Darren. It says, "What is your preferred at-home coffee prep approach? Pour over, AeroPress, French press, Maki pot, old-fashioned coffee pot, #AskSlee."
All right, I don't know enough in that game. I will tell you what I do. And I just actually recently started making coffee at home. I just always go to Starbucks, make coffee at home, go to Costco, I get whatever. I think the current coffee that I have right now, I want to say it's Jose's organic coffee.
No, the machine he's talking about, the device.
So I go get it ground. I ground it there at Costco.
For a French
you can ground
press
it.
Or for a drip maker?
It's drip.
Different grind. Okay.
Yeah, drip. So get home, pour whatever it is, how many ever scoops, and it's just basically drip.
Until it's full, and then fill with water. Because if you ever followed the directions on any of that coffee, like how to make it?
Yeah, actually, I'm following the directions as we speak.
Is the coffee weak? Is it thin? It's not particularly strong? Because the directions
in the
always
middle.
have it be way too weak.
I actually felt like mine was way too strong when I first started.
Huh. Maybe I got to get some Jose's.
It's what the hell is going on?
Loaded up and I'm ready to go. Genuinely bummed out for Justin Turner leaving the Dodgers. He's headed east to join the Dodgers, Beantown Dodgers in Boston, because they have, I think, 22 Dodgers on their roster at this point.
Yes.
But it bums me out, and I'm not quite sure what this Dodger team's going to look like, especially in the infield. That's coming up next. It's Travis Slee, 710 ESPN.
Hey, Laker fans, John Ireland here. Have you downloaded the new ESPN LA app? You got to get this thing. It's great. You can get Travis and Sliwa, Mason and Ireland, Sedano and Cap, and all of our Lakers talk with Slee right in the palm of your hand.
You're just one tap away from everything Lakers. You could even win Lakers tickets.
React to the Lakers on ESPN LA app.
Download the new ESPN LA app in the App Store or on Google Play.
Sliwa your Monday. A mega Monday. Coverage for Rams Monday Night Football against the Packers starts at 3:15 p.m. today with the Buffalo Wild Wings countdown to kickoff. That's on 7:10. Meanwhile, Lakers Suds coverage begins at 4:30 p.m. with the Toyota Lakers countdown to tip-off on our sister station, 11:10 a.m. You got that, folks? Rams on 7:10 today, Lakers on 11:10. Meanwhile, Travis and Sliwa is on right now for your Monday.
So I learned something about myself this weekend, guys.
What'd you learn?
I learned that I definitely don't have a skill for Topgolf. So my friends and I, we went to brunch, and the drinks and the mimosas were flowing, and then we were like, oh, we just don't want this, like, we want to keep hanging out. So we were like, what if we just went to Topgolf in El Segundo? And
were you nearby?
Yeah, we were in Venice.
They were an hour and a half away.
We were in Venice, so not super far. And so we called one of the boys.
Was it your idea?
It was my idea. And then we called, one of the boyfriends came and took us to El Segundo. He drove us. It was him and the three girls. And he picked us like, you guys smell like you've had a lot of mimosas. And we're like, yes, we've had a good time. And so then we get to Topgolf.
Don't you tell me what I drank.
Had a great place for football. And then it took me a couple swings to actually make contact with the ball, and typically it would just be like a little bit of contact, and I get to those first few circles that are just off the edge. That's usually where you
should have putted.
Yes, but
putt to that first hole.
Had a lot of good drinks and a lot of good food.
So is your golfing expertise or lack thereof due to that you just don't play golf, or that you had a bucket of mimosas?
Bucket of mimosas should help.
Bucket of mimosas. I definitely don't think it helped the hand-eye coordination. But I think even if I'm sober, I'm terrible at golf. Like I think I did it at the when we were at Harrah's, and I can't make contact with the ball whatsoever.
Takes a minute. That's somebody's got to teach you how to do that. That's not something you just fall out of bed and know how to do. Like you can shoot a basketball, you can get the ball in the hoop, right? But to hit a golf shot is actually something that's got to be instructed along the way.
Yes.
So how long before you started
proud
sober
of the
up?
mimosa drinking, but
yeah, I was going to say, did you get sober by the afternoon games, or did you just power through?
No, we powered through. So I had like 3 mimosas maybe at the brunch, and then we had a couple drinks or whatever at Topgolf,
wine, and then
I was with some gluten-free people, so we had some ciders
and IPA,
and then afterwards we went to Hennessy's in Hermosa Beach. So it kind of stretched it out throughout the day. And honestly, I wasn't that hungover because I had 1 hour essentially. I spaced it out, but it was a really good Saturday. Watched a lot of football. I bet on a game because I think Beto got me on it. So then this is turning into
Beto and I were live betting the Bahamas Bowl on Friday. It was we $5 bets, and it was like we were betting our house.
But that's the game to bet on.
It was great.
A lot of people want the Bahamas Bowl.
Tackled at the 2-yard line with no timeout. Had he gotten in, we would have won our bet. And he tackled at the 2-yard line, like that old Rams-Titans Super Bowl. That play only in the Bahamas Bowl.
Where are we on the points right now? How are we?
Well, we got a game tonight. Yeah. So this was a disastrous week for everybody.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's where we are heading into Monday Night Football. You have the lead.
That's not good.
With 1.
Get out of here.
Taylor is tied for the lead with 1. Beto has 1. Emily has 0, and I have 0.
What?
Because Chargers was a push, so no one got anything.
No one got anything from the Chargers and Titans because it pushed, so everybody loses.
That's right. It was 3. Okay.
Buffalo did not cover against Miami, so you had Miami, but it won. And then New England and the Raiders got a win out of nowhere on that, and everybody was on New England except for Taylor and Beto, but they both had Vegas at 1. So today, the Rams and Packers. Packers cover tonight. Then you get 5. You'll get 4 more. You'll have 5, and you'll win the week. You're the only one that can actually do some damage. Taylor could get 3 if the Rams win. Emily and I would get 2 and 1 if the Rams win. So it's a bad week for everybody.
Do you know what's going to happen? Packers aren't going to cover.
Who knows? It's going to be negative
but
600 degrees.
It would go perfect this year if the Packers don't cover.
Well, you're still looking for your first solo win. You need the Packers to cover.
Yeah,
so
but
I think
we solidified this last week. To get half a win the whole year, that's not easy.
It's virtually impossible.
It's virtually impossible.
Yeah, you'll win tonight. You're going to win this week.
All right, what was I'm trying to think back to your game last week.
Oh, yeah, you weren't here. So we split it. We split
officially.
it. Officially split it. Yeah. So last week, the commissioner of our pool, apparently, when we all lost the last time, there was more than 4 of us. Because it's when there's less than 4 and everybody loses, that's it. The pool ends and the money gets distributed evenly. So we all lost on Sunday and the money got distributed. So we hacked it 3 ways. So I got a third of the pot, which was pretty darn good.
Damn,
because I've been trying to get that for 6 weeks.
Yeah, but that was incredibly exciting going week to week. I hate that they just distributed it.
I'm not going to.
I was ready for either way. I was ready for you to walk in one day and say, been drinking Jack Daniels since.
Do you know who I was going
midnight.
to take? Hand to God. I was going to take the Vikings, and they would have fallen behind 33-0, and I would have been, okay, well, that's great. And they came back to win that one 39-36.
All right, your Vikings Colts is similar to the Vikings Colts is similar to how you did the World Cup.
Yeah,
where it was, you see people on Twitter that are saying something. You get a couple text messages. You know when I started watching that game? 36-all. That's when I started watching.
You got the good part.
36-all is when I started watching the game. And I didn't really even know the backstory. Like, people were putting up screenshots. I'm like, I don't understand this screenshot. I don't know what's going on.
33-0 at the half. It was the largest comeback in the history of the NFL.
Yep.
The NFL's been around a long time.
Yep.
A lot of teams have blown some
Matt
big
Ryan
leagues.
on the other side, too.
Matt Ryan now has ownership of a 28-3 Super Bowl catastrophe and a 33-0 halftime lead. Michael, my youngest son, says he was sleeping in late because he's a teenager and that's what they do. And he gets up, I'm like, Mike, the Colts are beating the Vikings 33-0 at the half. We watch a little bit of the third quarter together. The Vikings score. He goes, Vikings are going to win this game. I'm like, buddy, there's just not enough time. It may get close, but there's just simply not enough time.
Go brush your teeth and clean your room.
I go to play golf. I get a text from him in the middle of the round, and just a screen cap of the final score with an "I told you so." Because I didn't even watch it unfold. I went to go play. And I'm like, wait, they won that game 33-0. Came back.
That's crazy.
Get to Anthony Davis coming up here in just a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But let's talk about Justin Turner, Boston Red Sox designated hitter, Justin Turner. That sounds very weird to say. I was really surprised that they didn't find a way to get that done. When they signed J.D. Martinez on Saturday, it felt, okay, this may not work out. But you know me. I love my teams, but I don't get super emotionally involved in like guys that come and go, especially in pro sports. It happens all the time. Bums me out that Justin Turner is leaving to go to the Red Sox. He was such a great Dodger, so many great moments. Made his career. He was a journeyman in New York. He was a journeyman in Baltimore. Comes to L.A. and becomes a legend for a legendary team. And to see him go tack on a couple of weird years in Boston at the end of his career just feels really bums me out that they couldn't come to a solution to keep him. I get it. He gets $22 million. Dodgers didn't want to go 2 years for a player that's 38 years old.
Does he have the option in that second year?
It's his option in the second year. So he will very, very likely exercise that option.
That's a great contract for him.
It's a great contract for him. And I'm happy he gets his money, but I'm not happy that Justin Turner is going to end his career somewhere other than with the Dodgers. I don't like it. I really don't.
I think this is just another indication. Now, I know Kershaw, 2 years in a row, he's signing that 1 year contract. So you still have Clayton Kershaw that represents the Dodgers. But this is just another kind of example here, whether it was Kenley Jansen or it was Cody Bellinger or, in this case, Justin Turner. These are iconic Dodgers.
Can I make a slight difference? Like, Cody Bellinger was lousy and he needed to go.
Yeah.
Kenley Jansen was really struggling and it was time for him to go. Justin Turner was still really good for the Dodgers last year. This was not listen, he's fading, he'd fallen off, it's probably time. He was a really productive, effective player for them last year. He's the heart and soul of that clubhouse, not named Clayton Kershaw. It feels a little different than those other guys were great Dodgers, but this one feels a little different.
You agree or disagree with this, that when the season ended, and I think a lot of Dodger fans probably feel this way, not right after the season, but as the dust settled, can we see something a little bit different? Can you get some players that maybe you're not accustomed to? And I think indirectly or directly, however you want to describe it, that's going to happen to the Dodgers either way. They're probably going to play younger players that you didn't think a year ago they're going to be in that position. They're probably they're obviously out of the sweepstakes for so many different free agents this year, and that's part of their strategy. They don't want to overpay whatever it is. Maybe they're saving up to make a run at Shohei. Whatever the case is, this now is starting to feel, I think the Justin Turner is just another one where you're really kind of starting to feel like this Dodgers team is not going to be the same. That whatever it has looked like for a long period of time will look different.
Dodger fans, get in on this. 877-710-ESPN, 877-710-3776. This is one of these deals, Al, that I get why they did it. I just don't like that they did it. Right, that Justin Turner is probably his best baseball is in the rearview mirror. It's not out the windshield.
Was he 38?
He's 38. He's probably going to start to decline meaningfully at some point or another very soon. It was probably from a pure baseball perspective, you don't want to have Justin Turner on your books for 2 more years at that price tag. I get it. Intellectually, I get it. But emotionally, that's the guy. Of all the guys we talk about, like, hey, who do you want to come up? I think I'll pick Justin Turner. Give me a guy that's going to give you that great at-bat in that big moment, because we've seen it over and over and over again. And Emily basically was trying to hurt my feelings this morning by putting this thing together.
I will remember you. Swinging a fly ball. Launched and gone. What a night. 3 home runs for Turner tonight. He's found the pot of gold. It's here at Dodger Stadium. Will you remember me? High fly ball into left. Off the bat of Turner. At the wall. It's gone. Turner makes it 3-1 Dodgers in game 1. Don't let your life pass.
Picture dogs in cages. Donations we asked for.
Fly ball to left. It's on its way, and it is gone. A home run for Justin Turner. When they needed a home run the most, they turned to Turner.
It's 33 minutes long.
And Turner in the air to center field. That ball's hit well. Martinez on the run. This is way back, and it is gone. It is a walk-off home run for Justin Turner.
So some great moments for him as a member of the Dodgers, to be sure. And Big E kind of puts, this is a great tweet right here. Can I hate and understand the JT deal, but also be happy and love the JT deal? I think that's it. I'm happy that Justin Turner is going to get to put another $22 million in his bank. Good for him. I'm happy for him. He certainly deserves the money. But I don't like that he's not going to be here anymore. But I get why he's not going to be here
Can I throw
anymore.
this your way? If you said that he's still productive as a Dodger, right? Still productive, then are you upset at the Dodgers for not giving him 2 years?
I'm gonna
because you could have. I think you could have controlled the narrative, right? If the Dodgers said, "Hey, what are they giving you?"
No one's yelling at them for giving Justin Turner a 2-year deal. No one's saying, "What are you guys doing?" No one's saying, "This is a terrible deal. What did you just do to your squad?"
Wait, who's saying that?
No, nobody would be saying if the Dodgers gave him this exact same deal.
And that's my point. My point is that are you upset at the Dodgers for not saying, JT, what are they offering you over there? Cool, they got you 2-year deal. We'll make sure that we match.
I'm not upset by it, but I don't like. This is one of the few guys that I think maybe you do a look. We know this isn't a great deal. Give it to him anyway. One of the very few.
2 years. It's not like it's 7 years.
They don't do that. They don't. They clearly, they don't do that. Never mind going to 13 years for Correa, 11 year for Bogarts. Those deals are, asinine. But this is one of those things. $22 million or $11 million a year for 2 years. It's not going to make or break your payroll. It's really not. But he's not going to be. Now you're down to basically Kershaw. Kershaw is kind of that through line of these great Dodger teams for the last 10 years. It's Taylor, it's Barnes, but it's Kershaw. Kershaw's the last guy that's kind of connected to those older teams. Otherwise, it's younger players. It's guys you went and got from other places like Mookie and Freeman. It's really going to be odd to see, because think about your infield next year. It's going to be Freeman at first, just got here. It's going to be Muncy at second. Okay, he's a familiar face.
Lux at short.
Buckle up. And then probably Miguel Vargas at third base, who's inexperienced in green. By all accounts, supposed to be really, really good. That's your infield to open this. That's a weird Dodger team.
Does that, by the way,
be okay.
Is that kind of exciting that you don't know what to expect? You talk about during the regular season how, all right, well, Dodgers are going to win 100-plus games, and they're probably going to win the division, and they're Does it kind of add something to next year just because there's a little bit more of an unknown?
And
I'm not saying that positively or negatively.
I understand the question. Talk about it when we come back. We'll talk about what the expectations are coming into this. Plus, we'll get into what the Lakers do next now that Anthony Davis is going to miss some significant time. How much time, still waiting to find out, but it's going to be some time. It's all coming up. It's Trav and Slee, 710.
Hey, Laker fans, John Ireland here. Have you downloaded the new ESPN LA app? You got to get this thing. It's great. You can get Travis and Sliwa, Mason and Ireland, Sedano and Cap, and all of our Lakers talk with Slee right in the palm of your hand.
You're just one tap away from everything Lakers. You could even win Lakers tickets.
React to the Lakers on ESPN LA app.
Download the new ESPN LA app in the App Store or on Google Play.
Matthew Stafford of your Los Angeles Rams. This is Travis and Sliwa on the home of the Rams, 710 ESPN.
So we have a tweet from someone reacting to my montage to Justin Turner. He says, Drew says, the song choice is a bit much, Emily. He didn't die. Well, I want everyone to just get in their feels, like feel for this guy who's lost. It's,
Look,
let's get there.
I'm going to keep going back to her, Whitney Houston. Whenever we need her, she's available.
No, that's for you. You wanted that
and
for the Lakers, and you got it. You didn't want Adele, and so you decided to go.
I thought she was going to go Taylor Swift on that.
Does Taylor Swift have a bunch of sad ones too?
She has plenty of sad songs, but this one, Sarah McLachlan, gets you right to the point.
Does it not remind you of the
dogs?
The sick dogs where they're begging for your money
for just 10 cents a day?
Just 10 cents a day, you can save all of these dogs.
Is that the song they use?
Yes. Yeah, it's on the entire time.
Take my credit card.
A dog in need.
I'm fine. I just turn the channel. Like I don't want anything bad to happen to the dogs, but I also don't want to have that poor dog looking at me because
that's
not for my credit card.
Yeah, it's not good.
I can't have that happening. This is from Laker Shane, and he writes, "We always talk what they did in the last 10 years. It seems like a transition towards the next 10 years while everyone else breaks their banks right now," talking about the Dodgers.
Yep.
I think that's a part of it. And I think it's also kind of the bloodless nature of this business. And the teams that are very, very good at this, look, I'm going to go back to when I was a kid.
Okay.
And the Dodgers have been my favorite team from the time I was 7 years old, right? And I grew up on the Dodgers of Steve Garvey, Davey Lopes, Bill Russell, and Ron Cey. Those four guys still to this day hold the record of being together the longest in the infield. They played together for like 8 or 9 or 10 years, long time. And all of a sudden, the Dodgers one day got rid of Steve Garvey, and he went down to San Diego. And all of a sudden, Davey Lopes is on the A's, and Ron Cey's on the Cubs. And the only guy they kept was Bill Russell. And it was awful, and the Dodgers had this philosophy that they execute with their very best and most popular players. Better to get rid of them a year too early than a year too late.
Yep.
Do not get sentimental about this. Move these guys on. I think that's what this is. This is a evaluation of where Justin Turner is in his career, and they're deciding, you know what, we don't want to be in that business a year from now, or even we think that something's going to, maybe they're worried about injury or lack of production or whatever it is. It is a bloodless decision because he has been an incredibly popular Dodger for a decade. What that means for the team, we're about to find out, because I think that he's right on Twitter, Laker Shane. This could be a very different, doesn't mean they're going to be worse because they still got a ton of very good players.
Yeah.
That Mookie's a great player, Freeman's a great player, Will Smith's a great player. They got a ton of great players, but it's going to look really different. And maybe, to your point, Al, going into this, because what have I said 1,000 times? Dude, wake me up in October. I'll watch the games because I love baseball, but I'm not going to get, they might win 100. I don't care. What is it going to look like when it gets to October? And maybe part of this is let's shake this thing up and just go with a totally different mix and see what it is, while simultaneously saving a little money to go maybe make a big move down the road.
So I think there's a lot of eyes on the Dodgers right now. And listen, I don't know how it's going to play out, but I think you can make an argument either way. If somebody wanted to call in right now and be very critical on the Dodgers and say, what kind of an offseason is this? Mm-hmm. You won 111 games. But you're out 4 games into the postseason, and all you've done is lose either key players or great locker room guys, however you want to describe it. But Justin Turner was still producing. Trey Turner, I don't need to talk about his resume and what he was for the Dodgers. And a lot of these other teams got better. The Yankees went out and either re-signed Aaron Judge or they get Rendon from the San Francisco Giants, right?
Rodon.
Rodon's
still with the Angels, and they're paying him $42 million.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right.
Rodon, good player. Rendon, bum.
The Giants,
it's a little different.
The Giants go out and get, and listen, you don't have to like the deal. Is there more talent there or is there not? The Padres, is there more talent there?
For sure.
Is there not? The Philadelphia Phillies, they get to the World Series and Trey Turner goes there. However you want to, I guess you could say, look at the landscape of the Dodgers. You can make a case, or on the other side is, well, they've been picking up every free agent or they've been making trades. They've been doing this for the past X amount of years. This one looks a little bit different. And I don't know, for me, there's a lot of curiosity to the Dodgers. If the Dodgers went out and they picked up another big-time free agent, it's almost not even news because they do that every year.
Good point.
It's the fact that they didn't pick up a free agent where you sit back and you say to yourself, I don't know what the strategy is. And I know you've said this before. That front office has given themselves an incredible, you have to just, it's not the Angels front office.
They've earned the benefit of the doubt.
You can say, well, I think they must have some game plan because they've had a game plan for 10 years. They didn't just all of a sudden walk into an offseason and say, well, let's scrap everything that we've done in the past. So you want to give them the benefit of the doubt at that, but you also can say that their squad is not as good as it was last year, and other teams around them got better.
Yeah, for sure.
That's a safe thing to say.
I think it's a twofer. They're transitioning. They're transitioning to a younger group of players. Because Kenley Jansen a year ago, like you mentioned, Cody Bellinger this year. Trey Turner was not like a Dodger original, but had been here for 2 very successful seasons. Justin Turner, again, not a Dodger original, been here 10 years and got some of the biggest hits they are. That infield, the team won 111 games last year. That infield is going to look entirely different other than at first base. You don't have a center fielder right now. Mm-hmm. Maybe Trace Thompson is the guy that they're going to go with. You can move Chris Taylor over there. We'll see. But they basically have Mookie Betts in right field, and we'll figure out the other 2 spots. Your catcher is still your catcher. They're really different. I still think they're going to be good.
Yeah.
I still think they'll win 90 plus games. Mm-hmm. I don't know if it's 90 or 90. They're going to be in the playoffs, barring something really weird. They will make a move, but all of these moves, all of them, they missed on the let's not spend the money side, which leads you to believe there has to be, because they didn't just wake up one morning and say, you know what, we're not going to do anymore, spend any more money. Not a chance. They're flush. They've got money. They're willing to spend it, but they want to spend it on their own terms, and I'm just waiting for that other shoe to drop. It feels like it's going to happen. I don't know if it'll happen before spring training, but there's no way that they just did a 180, Al, on what you were saying, where they get every guy every year, and they just went, okay, we're done. When all of these players were available at positions where they need guys, weird.
By the way, that if it pans out and this plays in favor of the Dodgers, let's say in a few months or the season starts and they go out and they make a couple of moves, whatever the case is, that the market quieted down a little bit. These crazy contracts quieted down. That's why I always go back to the Dodgers on this. You're supposed to be one or the other, okay? You're either Steve Cohen, who owns the Mets. I was reading something over the weekend, what their luxury tax is going to be, the tax that he's going to pay, just his tax is more than, I think, 10 to 12 teams in Major League Baseball, something like that.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to have money and be responsible with your money. That's not how it usually works in sports. And this is, maybe they are resetting. Maybe this is we'll spend when it's right. All these other crazy contracts are out there. If they come out on the right end of this, where all these other good teams just spent $260, $300, blah, 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 $350, whatever they spent, if they come out of all this and they have equal amount of talent and they didn't spend that money, that's just almost unfair.
Scary if that's, in fact, what happens. We'll spend some more time talking about this on the other side of Factor Cap, but the Lakers had a great weekend. They beat Denver. They beat Washington last night. They're going to play the Suns tonight, but they had a terrible
No Devin
weekend.
Booker tonight, by the way.
No Devin Booker. The AD, this is what we've all been, what we talked about at the end of the week, Taylor, when we just this,
eerie.
You hold your breath every time he jumps and he bangs legs with Jokic, and now he's out indefinitely. They're saying a month. That's probably an optimistic. And just right when you're, hey, are they halfway decent? Could they make a trade to get above 500? They were in this massive hole. They've dug their way all the way out, and now this just sucks. It just absolutely sucks that this is where we are.
My bad. I thought you said you wanted to do
Factor.
it.
Can we get a little time?
Okay, so I will say this on the AD front. The worst part about all this? The guy finally, for himself, forget the Lakers for a second, just for himself, he's probably finally walking around and saying, I think I'm back. I think I feel good. I look good. I'm the best player every time I step on the floor for the most part. Offensively, I could drop you 35. I'll get you 12 boards. I'll go on the other side, get you 3 blocks, and completely control the paint. For the first time in how long? And the worst part about it all? I started forgetting about his injuries.
That's what we were talking about.
I
Thursday
stopped
Friday.
paying attention to the injuries.
I
did.
I was holding my breath every time.
You know why?
Every time.
Can I tell you why I stopped? Because I felt like when I watched him, he wasn't thinking about the injuries.
Yeah.
Remember when the season first started, he had that lower back tightness, and every time he's wincing
stiff.
and all that. And in my head, I'm saying to myself, I'm like, all right, well, I feel his injury because he's showing that that something's bothering him. I thought he went through a stretch of 30 days where it felt like, no, it doesn't look like it's bothering him.
Think about this. You could honestly say, and not qualify it at all, you could say, as of going into Friday night's game, Anthony Davis is the MVP in the league, and people wouldn't laugh in your face. Mm-hmm. You could have really said, you know what my vote for MVP would be? I'm voting for AD. And people go, all right. It wasn't a crazy thing. And then, bang. Just a disaster. We'll talk more about it after Factor Cap, which is coming up next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN.
Factor Cap.
Oh, that's cap. That's so cap, Dad.
Everything I've said is a cap, but I'm going to go fact.
First of all, it's not a cap. It's
No, it
just
is a cap.
Welcome to Factor Cap.
Hey guys, before we get into the Factor Cap of it all, I want to formally apologize to the city of Hermosa Beach because my friends and I were singing All Too Well Taylor's version, 10-minute version, with the windows down very loudly on Saturday night because we were in a great mood and the music was hitting us. And yeah, sorry, Hermosa Beach.
The mood struck you.
Yes,
What
it
are
was
you gonna
great. It was very fun though. All right, so this happened on Saturday night's game and in Buffalo, and Buffalo fans were throwing snowballs onto the field at the players at the bench, and Mike McDaniel, talked to the ref. It's like, hey, can we get 15 yards for this, etc. So this is what the ref announced during the game.
Please stop. Thank you.
So please stop. Thank you.
No, that should do it. That should handle that.
Throwing the snowballs on the field. So
I can see many fans in the stands
totally
saying,
listening.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they had it cocked, and now all of a sudden I just put it right back down to their feet.
Hey,
Sure.
my apologies.
Sure.
But Mike McDaniel was being a snitch here. Travis, Factor Cap.
No, Cap. I think that he's trying to give his team every advantage that they could possibly get. That was going to be a game that was going to go right down to the wire. That was a game where one play, one series, one officiating call could swing it from one way to the other. Your job as a head coach is to try to work every possible angle that you can.
Yeah.
And it didn't work, and they ended up losing. He should worry more about the fact that Tua is regressing back into the other Tua that we've seen the entire time. He hit, I think, every single Buffalo player with a pass. They just couldn't catch the ball. I don't know. I'm okay with guys working refs, whether it's basketball referees, baseball managers chirping from the dugout. It's part of the job.
Fun, please.
So
Alan?
I'm Cap on this one too. Tua's dropping back, inside their own 7-yard line, and every throw that he makes, there's 14 snowballs going towards the wide receiver. No, I don't think that's
They
okay.
wanted it colder, guys.
I don't think that's him being a snitch. It's the equivalent of somebody throwing trash on I don't know, however you want to describe it. I do think he should have said something. Do I think anything's going to stop? No. And what are you going to do? Are you going to tell, well, we're going to get security up there, and
The only way you
security's
can
gonna find
stop
anybody
it
with a snowball
is to penalize the team. Like if all of a sudden they're on the 7-yard line, like you're saying, now all of a sudden they're out of the
Automatic
22.
first, yeah.
It's like unsport. It's like, okay, guys, we're just going to keep marching them down the field.
Yeah.
If you keep throwing flags, they'll stop.
Yeah.
But asking nicely for them to stop is certainly not going to do the
It's like
trick.
in college basketball.
I'm down
we
to
were always
snitch.
told. We had at UVA, the first goal, they always do streamers, but they were like, do not throw it on the court. It'll be a penalty. It's really bad. So please don't throw it on the court. Taylor.
They do tortillas at UCSB.
Fun.
Oh, really?
So, Cap, he's not being a snitch. A, snowballs hurt. Have you ever been hit by one?
It sucks.
Yeah, it's not a good time. And B,
They have helmets
the
on.
Bills Mafia, they're unruly. I've been around a lot of crazy fans in my life, but when the Bills were in town
Next level.
to face off against the Rams, they
Yes.
took over Hermosa Beach, and they can put down some alcohol.
They're a group of people that I could do without. they're like the Raider fans last week. Great. I don't know. Maybe it's just because I'm in LA and I'm used to Raider fans and have mingled with them
What was your
multiple
experience
times.
when they played
Not
game
great.
1?
Not great.
How were they different? Just obnoxious?
They're
or what
more
was it?
obnoxious.
Okay.
They're more obnoxious. And to Taylor's point, it feels like, believe it or not, and this is not delivered with any judgment. This is just delivered as an observation. Drunker than your average fan base. Like they're turned up to a degree that is unpleasant to be around.
Tolerance.
Yes.
Like Saturday Hermosa style?
Now, in their defense, they were not singing the 10-minute version of Taylor Swift. They did not get that drunk.
I would have had a great time with them. So Titanic came out on this day in 1997. So James Cameron has a new movie out, Avatar: Way of Water.
Haven't heard of it.
But
Almost went and saw it Saturday.
Did you really?
Do you know the damage?
it's long.
3:15, I think.
Get out of
Yeah.
here.
I think
I'll
I'm
see it
still
on
going to
Wednesday.
see it. I think I'm going to pause at an hour and a half in.
Right. But James Cameron, in the midst of his press, was asked about the age-old question whether or not both Rose and Jack could have fit on the door at the end of Titanic. Sorry, spoiler alert for those who haven't seen it. Jack dies because he stays in the water. So
Why would you tell people?
Oh, no! Okay, so, but he said that we worked with 2 stunt people, essentially saying, there's no way that could have happened. Someone had to die, so we sacrificed for Rose. But both Rose and Jack could have fit on the door. Alan, fetch your cap.
So I'm going to go fact on this. It's based on nothing. It's not only based on nothing. I think my answer is, you know what? They could have figured it out together. The fact that they wrote that script the way that they did, and they didn't have them both survive. It's like one of those kind of stunning endings. Like, what the hell is this? What the hell is this? What, they're both not going to go? I don't want to see that. I want them both to survive. Either they both survive or they both go down.
They both should have gone down. I never really have given this 1 second of thought until you brought it up, Emily.
We'll give you a minute.
It's a pretty big door. It feels like it could have been a 2-person door.
Yeah, but it could have sunk,
It
and they
could
both
have
could have died.
Well, she could have scooted over. And
just make a little bit of room.
They're like taking turns.
Dead people in there, right? Like all the dead people are in the water floating around. Like get a couple of jackets and make yourself a little raft, Jack. Like let's go. Get creative. The clock is ticking along the way.
Why'd they give up so quick?
Yeah, I don't know about the door buoyancy and whether or not the salinity of ice cold salt water adds or detracts from the buoyancy of a wooden door. So I'll leave it up to Cam. I do believe him. If he says he went back and did,
he tried.
This is how he rolls. He's detail oriented like that. So I'll take him at his word.
Taylor?
Cap, I mean, Jack did the right thing. Women and children first. Got to take one for the team.
I would have done like Billy Zane and got in the lifeboat first. Later. Good luck.
Dress up as a woman.
What was his name?
Trav, you trying
Something
to get
terrible.
away from everything?
I want the boat. I'd want to take a nap. And if everybody's stacked in my lifeboat, how am I supposed to get to sleep?
Titanic, also a very long movie. Every one of James Cameron's movies is always incredibly long. He actually submitted an Avatar 3 that was a 9-hour long cut. Yeah,
that sounds great.
Are you going to see Avatar?
Yeah, I'll see it on Wednesday.
Taylor, are you going to see it?
No. I'll wait for your review.
It's a tough decision. It's a long freaking movie.
I'm not going to convince you to see it because
there's no reason.
Yeah.
I already got your answer.
Okay, so a
blue thing swimming in the water and it's all looks like a video game. I'm good.
So a couple cycled around the world on a tandem bike over a year. So it was, a great bonding event for them. So you would do a tandem bike with a significant other or your significant other. Taylor, Fat or Cap?
Cap, get your own bike. Yeah. I mean, we can do it together, but on separate bikes.
Yeah.
Trev?
I don't think I'd go around the world. If Susan said to me, "Hey, let's get a tandem
bike
the
Strand
and ride the Strand,"
yeah,
I'd do it. I'd be terribly self-conscious the whole time. It looks oddly difficult. I've never tried to do it. It looks really, really hard because riding a bike obviously is very easy, but you got two people trying to balance the.
It'd be like turning a semi. I feel like.
It feels very, very weird.
It's meant for a straight line.
If she wanted to do it, I would do it, but I would be super self-conscious the entire time.
Al?
In fact, I do it. Yeah, I think it would be.
Have you ever ridden one?
No, I don't think I've ever. I don't think I've ever done a tandem bike. Now, I'd be telling her stop braking and leave the. Don't touch this. Lean to the left. I don't know what I'd be telling her.
Isn't the person in front doing all of the real work? Like I know they're steering, obviously, but aren't they the ones actually propelling the bike
100%.
forward?
I could see you sitting in the back, and I could see
feet up.
Dead weight.
Susan just like standing up, just grinding to get wherever she needs to get.
She's a lot
to.
stronger than I. But my first reaction would be if she said, "Hey, you want to get a tandem?" I'm like, "You feeling all right?" Like that doesn't sound like something that you'd ever want to do. But sure,
Taylor,
I'll do
open up to it, man. I think you have a great time.
You and me, buddy.
I did it with my dad one time, and it's a relationship killer. Like, this is my father, and it was fine, but like,
They haven't spoke since.
I was in the back. I was young. I was like probably 10. I was pretty young, and so he was, and it was in Hilton Head, which is very flat and very straight, and so like we, we're just going in line, but it was just like. He would get mad that I wasn't pedaling enough, or I would get mad that he was like making me pedal too hard. Like all this fun. It's just not a thing that's a good relationship test.
We had
or
one of those
I think the idea is don't do
as
it
a
then.
kid. Like when my kids were little, like you could put the baby back there or the infant, and even dragging that baby trailer sucks. And that's a baby that weighs. It wasn't a baby, but it's a little kid. I don't know, 25, 30 pounds or whatever. It's like pulling a tank up a hill. It's impossible. It's awful.
It's too much work.
So the movie theater I go to watch most of my movies has also a video. It's like a video store. It has they call it the Video Vortex, and it has DVDs, and you can rent DVD players for free. So if you don't have a DVD player at your house, you can rent stuff. So you still have a DVD player at your house. Travis, Fat or Cap?
Yeah, I know for a fact that we do, and I think correct me if I'm wrong here. I think the Xbox or the PlayStation plays DVDs too.
Yeah,
right?
I think they do.
They can.
So we've got multiple DVD. But we still have one of the old school like Sony. Plug it into the back of the TV. I think it's in the garage somewhere. Yeah.
When would you get rid of it?
What's that?
When would you get rid of it?
When Susan says it's okay to get rid of it. If she wants to keep it, we keep it. She's the one that holds on to things.
All right, so I'm cap on this, but let me ask you this: do you guys actually use it?
So yeah, occasionally we will use it because as a member of SAG-AFTRA, right, you get all those screeners at the end of the year, and some of them come digitally. You can watch them, but sometimes they still send you the DVDs.
Yeah,
and it's
most of them actually come in the DVDs.
A lot of them. So we'll still watch them usually between about right now and the end of the year for your consideration. But that's about it.
So I'm cap on this. I look, there was a time. And I want to say I probably still have a couple DVDs. I just don't have a DVD player. But I remember the time where you'd have everything, right? Like you had every movie, you had video games, FIFA, whatever it is, right? You had them all there.
I was very proud of my collection. I displayed it in college. It was a talking point with my friends.
But it's kind of nice to not have any of that. Like it's kind of nice to.
It's like a bookshelf.
Well, here's the one thing with the books. There is something about grabbing a book. Like there is something about holding an actual book and reading whatever it is that you're reading. A DVD player, I got everything streaming. I'm paying already for all these other services, so I just have no use for it.
Yeah, the book thing is weird for me too. I have a bunch of books in my house. We have a bookcase, but I'm not going to go back and reread a book I've already read. Like I've never quite understood. Like I've read the book. No one else in my house is going to read that book. Why do I still have it? Like
display.
Yes, but why? No one's going to see it other than me and my family, really. It's such a weird thing.
I got rid of, probably in the last year, I got rid of a lot of books. And it's kind of the same thing that you're saying. It's like, I don't think I'm going to read these again. And if that book doesn't have, whatever it is, if you don't think you're going to actually read it again, why not give it to just somebody that will read it and then just call it a day? It's almost like having clothes that you haven't worn in a year. You're like, just get rid of them.
We'll rewatch movies that we love, right? We all do that. You see a movie, one of your favorites comes on, you watch it again, or you'll purposely pull it up on Netflix. There's only one or two books that I've ever read more than one time. And it's just the time. Is it to read a book takes multiple days, where a movie takes a couple hours?
Yeah, and it's just like this. Like you already know what's going to happen, and so it's the time. Yeah, it's the time spent reading the book when you already know what's going to happen. But it's less fulfilling for you. But I have like reread things like Little Women, some of the classics that I really enjoy. But like at different stages of my life. Like,
did you
as a kid and as an adult?
Excuse me. Did you take the DVD player back from the theater?
No, I haven't yet.
You should do it. Just keep it. See how long you can keep it.
Yeah, I'm sure that they're fine with that.
Hey, Emily, can we have that? I never took the DVD player.
Don't know what you're talking about.
Probably know me my first name too because I go there all the time.
Yeah, you're a regular, wasn't it? They're giving away free DVD players. Remember that used to be like the pinnacle of wow DVD. Now you can take it if you want it. A little bit different along the way. All right. AD down for how long? Trades. What does it mean for the Lakers?
Yeah.
Where are they right now? Because they're in the weirdest spot almost imaginable from where they started to where they are and what's going on. Weird time for the Lakers. That's coming up next. Trav and Slee, 710.
Hey, Laker fans, John Ireland here. Have you downloaded the new ESPN LA app? You got to get this thing. It's great. You can get Travis and Sliwa, Mason and Ireland, Sedano and Cap, and all of our Lakers talk with Slee right in the palm of your hand.
You're just one tap away from everything Lakers. You could even win Lakers tickets.
React to the Lakers on ESPN LA app.
Download the new ESPN LA app in the App Store or on Google Play.
Mega Monday coverage for Rams Monday Night Football against the Packers starts at 3:15 p.m. today with the Buffalo Wild Wings countdown to kickoff. That's on 7:10. Meanwhile, Lakers Suds coverage begins at 4:30 p.m. with the Toyota Lakers countdown to tip-off on our sister station, 11:10 a.m. You got that, folks? Rams on 7:10 today, Lakers on 11:10. Meanwhile, Travis and Sliwa is on right now for your Monday.
We were talking about it both Thursday and Friday, Al. What you were saying a second ago, where you'd kind of moved on from the fact that you thought AD, like he's back and all those things. And I was loving watching him play, and it was exciting. Like, do you make a deal to try to get you back into the mix in the Western, et cetera, et cetera? But I was telling the guys the last couple of days, like, I'm just
always in the back of your mind.
Yeah, and
fair.
We were talking about when do you kind of let that go, and I said at the time, you know what? If we get through the rest of this season and it's all good, then I think going into next season, you're just kind of okay. We're back and we're ready to go, because I'd seen too many things previously. And then, of course, what happened on Friday night, and he's going to miss some time, at least a month, it looks like. And that's probably being a little bit optimistic according to everything that people are reporting. What do you do now? Because the Lakers are in sniffing distance of 500 all of a sudden. Mm-hmm. They're still out of the playoff picture, but not by a lot. They're actually only a handful of games from being in the middle of the pack in the Western Conference. You're already getting a lot from LeBron. You're going to have to ask more from LeBron moving forward in his 20th season. And you just don't know what AD is going to have when he does come back along the way. Do you make a big move for the picks? All of a sudden, all the questions that were already difficult enough to ask to begin with become far more difficult, because I just don't know how my best player is going to look when he comes back. He may not be a shadow of what he's been for the last month or so.
So there's a couple different ways to look at it. If you go look at the NBA standings right now in the Western Conference, you could say, hey, the Golden State Warriors and the Lakers have the same amount of losses. Both teams have 16 losses. Who would have thought the Golden State Warriors are sitting at 15 and 16 right now?
Wild. And Steph's down.
Minnesota went out and made the trade. They got Gobert. They were building off of what they did last year. They're 15 and 15. Karl Anthony Towns is missing. He's going to miss some time as well. Dallas Mavericks, they're 15 and 15. The Clippers, I want to say 4 games above 500. I could look at it and tell you that, hey, there's a lot of teams that they're kind of hanging out with. Here's the problem. The problem is I think those teams are going to get better, and I don't have that answer for the Lakers. I don't know with Anthony Davis. Remember how we were all waiting for the December 15th date to come? Okay, it came. It was actually, I think, last Thursday, I want to say it was. And the idea and the concept is now you have basically 90% of the league is now available for a trade.
Yep.
So if you want to go make a move, this is how I think it changes the conversation. It changes the conversation in this way. Do I think Anthony Davis, if he misses 1 month, that's 16 games, 17 games. If he misses 1 month and 10 days, which is the remainder of January,
okay,
and I think both you and I would agree, I don't think he's coming back in 4 weeks.
Feels unlikely.
He's missing 24 games. It's a lot of games they have in this chunk.
More than a quarter of the season.
Okay. Are the Lakers going to go 12 and 12 without Anthony Davis?
Almost certainly not.
I'd be shocked.
Right.
I'd be shocked if they did. They're probably going to end up 5, 6, 7 games below 500. It just seems like that would most likely happen without Anthony Davis, how key he's been to this team. So you're already 3 games below 500. If you went another 6, 7 games below 500 in the time that Anthony Davis is out, now you're looking at 8, 9, 10 games below 500. I don't think that's out of the ordinary. So if you were going to go make a move because you were going to be ultra aggressive because you think you got a chance because AD's playing the way he has, maybe that game plan goes away, but we're actually starting to hear less about that. Remember we were starting to hear that the Lakers, maybe it's a Pat Bev, a Kendrick Nunn, one of those things? I actually don't think it's a bad idea if you think that the person you're bringing in is also going to be around next season. Like if somebody that you think, hey, I think Bogdanovich is a good fit, and I'm okay with Bogdanovich on this team the remainder of this year, and he's also under contract next year as well. Go look at that free agency class. Like I know Lakers have money, $30 million
at the end of this
year.
Season, yes.
It's Kyrie Irving. It's James Harden who's going to end up. Chris Middleton will end back up with the Bucks. I just assume that he will.
Sure.
It's not like you have a free agent class that you're saying, oh my gosh, that player wants to be a Laker and we want him to be a Laker. So can they still make a move? as long as it just makes sense that you're looking at a guy saying, we want this guy to be a part of the Los Angeles Lakers, and that guy could be there
beyond this season.
Beyond this year. That you're not in this desperation mode of, well, we got to get better right now. I don't know whatever you do moving forward. If you lost Anthony Davis for 20 games,
that's the thing.
25 games.
Well, it's not just that. It's that, but it's that in addition to, I don't know what he's going to look like when he comes back.
Or how long he takes to get back.
Are we going to get the guy that we just saw for the last month? Then that's different, because at that point, maybe you do what you're suggesting, which is let's get better in the short term and the long term. But if there's some sense of, listen, this will heal, he'll be ready to go, and we're going to get the guy that we got for the last month, then maybe you do something even more short-term oriented to try to maximize where you are. Because, again, clock's ticking on LeBron, too, right? Every game, every year that goes by,
about to turn
it's
38.
Clicking on LeBron as well. So that's one part of it. But if you're saying, listen, the last time we saw him miss a lot of time, it basically took him over a year to get back to where he was supposed to be. I don't have a year to do this. So this is the wild card in all of it, Al, is I don't know what I'm getting back. Like if you said to me, when Steph Curry comes back, for instance, I think we can all rest assured that he's going to look a lot like Steph Curry when he comes back, because Steph's been really healthy for a very long time, so you just kind of assume
and his style of basketball is different, playing on the outside.
I don't know what it's going to be with Anthony Davis. Is it going to be the Anthony Davis we got for the last month, or is it going to be Anthony Davis we got for the previous 2 seasons? I don't know. I don't think he knows. I don't think the Lakers know. And I don't know how you make a deal when you don't know what the core of your team is. You're asking me to fill in around the peripheral, but I don't know what the core is. I know what LeBron is, probably. You know how many more minutes and how many more shots and how many more everything's he's going to have to do in Anthony Davis's absence? A lot. So all of a sudden, you're burning the tires on him a little bit more aggressively than you would be otherwise. There's just so many variables that lead you to, I don't know what the hell's going to happen. I don't want to say they're barely in it right now. They're more than barely. They're still not technically in the playoff picture right now. Even as good as they've played for the last month, they're still under 500.
Yeah, they're digging themselves out of the 2-10 start.
So now you're going to backslide like we've talked about. There are just so many. This is what was a hard decision for Rob Pelinka. Just became a virtually impossible one, because there's a piece of the equation that you don't I don't know what it's going to be, and I don't know how you make a deal like that.
Well, I will say this, too. Since he went down on Friday, you had Saturday, you had Sunday, and then here now we're walking into Monday. They've been very vague about
that's never good.
What's the issue or what's the problem or the details of it. Even yesterday, Darvin Ham said we'll probably get more information today, that he was obviously at the game yesterday, but that they were going to take more. They had more tests that they were going to do. I think that part of it, I'm with you. It kind of concerns me when you don't get that much information, when they don't say, when there isn't this official, okay, guys, here's what it is, and we're estimating that he's out 2 to 4 weeks.
And especially him.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to throw any shade on him, but especially him.
No, he has an injury
really
history.
Struggled with injuries,
Sure.
and when he's come back has not looked like himself. Like if you said to me, listen, he's going to be, even if you said it was 2 months, but when he comes back, he's going to be that guy, okay, I can make decisions based on knowing that. He may come back and look like the guy for 2 years. I don't know. I don't know how I can't make a trade when I don't know. I think it honestly pushes them back into let's just see what it can be.
Well, and on top of that, I think this also solidifies for the Lakers. There was a point during the beginning of the season where they were in desperation mode. It felt like they were in desperation mode. They were 2-10, okay? And that's with AD on the floor. That's with Bron on the floor. And you felt like in that time, teams, of course, are going to try and take advantage of the Lakers. Oh, you want that? Yeah, we'll just take your 2 picks, the 2027, 2029. I think this also more falls along the lines of just don't make a bad move if there are no deals out there that you feel like, they're going to hurt you long term, and maybe there's a little bit of a gain short term. Then just don't make the move. Like I think it in a way it might make it easier for Rob Pelinka that I'm not going to go make a move when I don't have really clarity of what's to come.
It pushes you back towards it. Let's just see what happens. Let's not do anything. Let's just see what happens. But there was momentum for the first time in a long time. There was really positive momentum.
I'll say this: if they don't make a move, then
I get it.
You'll have $47 million coming off the books. You have $30 million in cap space, and you'll have 3 picks coming up, as in this year's pick and then 27 and 29.
Wild weekend in the NFL. A bunch of teams blowing crazy leads, the dumbest decision you've ever seen, and we still got a game to go. Baker Mayfield in the freezing cold. That's coming up next. It's Travis Slee, 7.
and Sliwa. Travis and Sliwa is on for your Monday. We're here each weekday. 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. We begin 9 hours of LA sports talk all day long. Hope you had a great weekend. It's a Mega Monday because we've got Rams-Lakers, but let's look back for a moment. When we last left the show, Sliwa was missing the day on Friday after missing the day on Thursday. Now, Friday he said he was sick, which we believe. But Thursday was a scheduled day off. And of course, Slee didn't tell us what he was up to. Will he tell us today? Because Slee's like our very own secret agent man, you know what I mean?
Secret agent man.
Meanwhile, Lakers won 2 over the weekend without AD. Yeah, he's hurt again. We'll talk about it. But also, the news broke yesterday that one JT, Justin Turner, is leaving the Dodgers for the Red Sox. And still Dave Roberts is the manager. I just don't get it. Who will cry more about this news, Travis or Corporate Greg? I believe producer Emily has put together a tribute. We'll hear that today as well. Plus, we'll get you ready for Rams Monday Night Football and the Lakers going for their 3rd straight win in the desert. All of that and so much more. Travis and Sliwa, here Monday right now.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm ready to cry about Justin Turner leaving, but it bothers me. It really does. Greg and I had a moment.
Cry.
We put our arms around each other and just said, it's going to be okay. We're going to get through this together.
Definitely,
we're going to be all right.
Holding each other.
Going to miss him.
Mm-hmm.
I know. See, here's the thing that sucks about this.
You go down.
I go one over the top. Yeah. The smaller person needs to go under.
I know, but I could see.
I assert my dominance if I can. I try to at least.
But for just 10 seconds a day,
you were crying.
You too can bring back Justin Turner to the Dodgers.
That would get me to reach for my credit card. The dogs, I mean, I'm sorry and everything, but it's Justin Turner. I'll chip in a few bucks.
Yeah, would you?
You know what kind of stinks about the whole thing? And I like that the Dodgers do it the way that they do it. I really, truly do. You got to do something extraordinary to get recognized forever in a Dodger uniform. They're not going to retire Justin Turner's number. They're not, nor should they. But now that he's gone, it's just going to be one of those, oh, yeah, I remember him. I don't like that. I don't like that. A lot like Garvey. Like, if you go around, I'm sure they got pictures and everything and MVP trophies and things like. But it's like he defined an era of Dodger baseball. Clayton Kershaw and Justin Turner were Dodger baseball from roughly 2010 until here we are right now. Those are the 2 guys that were there the entire time. The best pitcher, the best offensive player, and one of them's gone. I hate it.
You can have, and it's like this with any team that you root for, right? You could have iconic moments with that player. You can have great memories with that player. And then you can also have what the hell is he wearing, a different uniform? Right? Like that's gonna set in. That will eventually happen. Is this right to say that the Dodgers have a plan without really knowing what their plan is?
Oh, I think they know exactly what they're doing. We don't know.
But I'm saying like the fact that they have a plan.
They do.
Right?
Yeah, for sure.
They didn't bring Justin Turner back. They let him go sign in Boston a 2-year, $22 million deal. They have a plan. And if it just doesn't fit within the lines, then they allow that to go away.
A little bloodless in this whole thing. Like, look, we're going to do what's best for the team.
Bloodless is okay if you're obviously delivering, and they are delivering. They're delivering in the regular season. They're not delivering in the postseason.
It's a weird mix, but this was the guy that I thought maybe you make the exception to the rules. Much as I loved Corey Seager, you see a deal like, no, you got to let him go, and you had a contingency plan in Trey Turner. You see some of these other deals, Correa and Bogarts, and I'm not doing that. Yep. I get it. This was one of those, you could probably swallow $11 million a year, and it's not going to break your bank. Good clubhouse guy, et cetera, et cetera. I get why they did it. It bums me out.
Do we know if they offered him? Do we know if there was a 1 year?
Sound like the second year was the sticking point. It sounds like that was the part. And they went out and we haven't even talked about it. J.D. Martinez is coming in. He had kind of a down year last year. Bigger, probably a little more pop. Maybe not. I don't know. It's just J.D. Martinez is going to feel real different than Justin Turner in that line.
Yeah, of course it is.
Weird NFL weekend. The Raiders got
gifted.
Is it the greatest gift in NFL history? Now, didn't send them to the playoffs or anything. I guess theoretically they're still alive. It did take the Patriots out of the playoff picture, at least temporarily. I've never seen a more inexplicable decision than we saw at the end of that Pats game.
Can I just say this real quick on the Raiders? If I told you 2 games in the entire NFL this year that really stand out, I have 2 in mind, okay? One is the Arizona Cardinals versus the Raiders.
Sure.
What week was that?
4 or 5.
It was
Very
early in the
early.
season,
Yeah.
right? Early in the season. And they come back. They do nothing for basically 3 quarters and then score, I think, 22 unanswered. And they end up beating the Raiders. And if I said another game that sticks out, maybe these are not the top, but these are a couple that stick out, is Baker Mayfield hanging out with Sean McVay for 30 minutes, getting the ball, and having 2 at the end of the game where they do nothing.
Against the Cardinals, by
Week
the way.
2, that early.
Week 2.
I think of those 2 games.
Holy
I think the Rams come back on the Raiders, and I think of that game against the Arizona Cardinals. And there were other games in between. Do you understand that those 2 games right there, they're 8-6. They're now in the position as where the Chargers are and some of these other teams. But that goes into this gift that they got.
You know what's kind of a really good rule of thumb, and you just have to remind yourself this: bad teams always find a way to be in games like that. Bad teams find a way to win random out of nowhere things.
Yep.
Like the Jags game.
And they're also going to give you 1 or 2 along the way. They're just bad teams. You don't see. You don't see the Philadelphia Eagles, a team playing like. You don't see the Rams last year, and they play close games, but they're not in these games where you blow big leads or
Good
someone
teams
else
find ways to win. Bad
Close
teams
them
find
out.
ways to lose.
Just an absolute disaster. And here's what it sounded like on the Patriots call of this whole thing.
Off a tackle at the 40. He lost the football. And Jacoby Myers picks it up. He circles back and he throws it across the field.
Oh my God.
It's picked up by Chandler
God.
Jones. He breaks away to the 30. He runs to the 20. He runs to the 10.
Almost sounds like a home call in the beginning.
Unreal. Touchdown.
Good night.
Raiders.
Good night. This might be one of the dumbest teams I've ever seen.
And that's perfectly New England too. Like I could picture everybody I knew in New England having the same reaction. It's like, oh, the Pats, the bums.
I'm going to
This
say it
might
again.
be the dumbest team I've ever seen.
What else are we going to call
And
that?
then they cut the broadcast. It was over, and they
and
went
it's a Bill Belichick team.
Yeah.
The teams, the guy that's not supposed to have moments like this. I asked it before. I'm going to ask it again right now. I'm not even going to ask what the hell is Jacoby Myers doing throwing that ball backwards. I'm just going to assume that he went insane for a minute and thought maybe he didn't know the score or whatever it is.
Yeah.
You're throwing it to Mac Jones.
Yeah.
That's not Randall Cunningham or Michael Vick or Steve Young or Allen, one of these guys that could maybe make a move. Mac Jones is about as athletic as me.
Yes.
He's just going to stand there and do nothing. That's the guy you're throwing. What did you expect him to do if, in fact, he would have caught that ball? That's the part to me that is the most shocking.
In a tie game.
Okay.
You're not down.
Do you subscribe
It's a
to
tie
this?
game. Yeah.
Did he not know what the score was?
Oh, could have been.
By
the way, I almost wish he said that. Do you remember this? Remember the NBA Finals, Game 1?
J.R. Smith?
Cavs
Sure.
and the Warriors. J.R. Smith did not know the score. J.R. Smith thought they were up 1. So he thought, I'm going to grab that rebound. I'm going to run the clock out. I'm going to start running back towards half court. We're about to steal game 1. It was a tie ball game. At least, as idiotic as it was, there was an explanation for it. At least you can say to yourself, well, if they were up 1, he actually is making the right decision.
It was insanity.
Do you guys hear what Bill Belichick said after the game? So he talked about, someone asked him, like, why they didn't throw a Hail Mary at the end of the game. And he said, because we couldn't throw it that far.
Oh, I did hear
It's
him
just
say
kind
that.
of like an indictment about, like, where Mac Jones sits on that team,
did you see what happened
too.
after that? So
What happened?
I think he specifically said, I'm like, correct me if I'm wrong. He said he can't throw the ball 55 yards. And then they went back to Alabama and found a bunch of instances where he can throw the ball 55
Oh,
yards.
that's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
I don't think Mac Jones is the solution at quarterback for them long term. I don't think that's going to happen.
Well, I'm going to go back to your
How
point.
would you like to walk back into that locker room?
Oh
What do you say?
gosh.
What do you do?
I don't know what you say.
I mean, if you're Jacoby Myers and you got to see all those guys on the plane going back, and you got to go into the facility this morning to watch tape or get treatment or whatever.
Yeah. And this is not the Colts who are up 33-0 and have nothing to play for.
And everybody.
This
in
is the
Colts,
Patriots trying to make the playoffs.
And everybody in the Colts has ownership in that catastrophe.
Yeah.
It wasn't just one guy. It's the one guyness of it all that really kind of takes it to the whole nother level.
Yeah,
then
J.R. Smith's the first one I thought of where there's a moment where I'm like, he definitely doesn't know the score. It's the only thing I could think of is that he thinks they're down. You know, he's getting a lateral, and now he's maybe thinking, well, if he's lateraling the ball, then am I supposed to?
You know what it could have been? It could have been one of these. He did know the score. He thinks it's tied. And all of a sudden, Ramonde throws him the ball. He's like,
And he panicked?
I must not know the score. Because there's no way he throws it to me if the game's tied. I must have it wrong, and I'm just going to go. Obviously, he knows something I don't. Right? Have you had that moment
where
that
could be that.
I must be wrong because there's no reason to do this.
Why didn't he blame him? I wish all of his quotes, all of his quotes would say, "Well, why did he throw me the ball?"
It was unreal.
And it wasn't even
Mac Jones make a play.
It wasn't even a throw back to Jacoby Myers. It was like a almost like little like handoff. It was very strange. It was not a typical lateral you would throw either. So it's just like that. And then I loved just Mac Jones getting buried into the earth by
he
Chandler
just
Jones.
got very gently set down by Chandler Jones, like you would. Like if
Take
you're
a nap.
a dad wrestling
Take a nap,
with your
buddy.
3-year-old, you just go, I'm going to put you down on the ground,
Take a
soft,
nap.
but not perfectly soft. Just
go to sleep.
Understand who's in charge here, and we're going to keep it moving.
Go to sleep.
Unreal. Rams tonight, Monday Night Football against the Pack. I'm not going to lie. Look, the Rams are 4-9, busted of a season. They had their unequivocal high point last week against the Raiders where they came back and scored a couple of touchdowns at the end of the game. I know that Baker Mayfield, I said this to you a second ago, Slee. Baker Mayfield is the first ever number 1 overall pick to play for 3 teams in his first 5 years in the league. That's not something you want to be known for. I'm oddly curious to see what he's going to bring tonight because I think that's the story. Rams aren't any good. Packers aren't any good.
Yep.
Can Baker Mayfield do it again?
All right, so
that's the story.
Let me just. He's coming off obviously an incredible game.
Sure.
Nobody thought this is the game that you thought he'd make his kind of debut in, right? All right, now you have 10 days. You got some time to kind of figure out what the hell's going on. They played on a Thursday, so by the time he got here, I think they said it was 36 hours or something along those lines. What do you expect?
20
from
plays at practice.
I
literally, he ran 20 plays at practice.
That's enough. That's enough. He's ready. He's ready. I'm with you that is the storyline right now. There really isn't that many other storylines around the Rams. How do you think he does tonight? Because I will tell you, I think it goes back to the the average. I think it goes back to who you really are.
I'm a big believer in expectations, and if you don't have any, I think you're dangerous. That when you come in and look, dude, we're going to get our what's kicked tonight.
Yeah.
Just go out there and see what you can do.
Yep.
And you go out there and you get something like that. Okay? And now he's got just enough information to kind of screw him up. Right? Where he's going to come to the line of scrimmage and go,
it's so jacked up, but it's so true.
Right? Think about it. He's going to go up to the line of scrimmage and say, okay, we're going to call XY Spider Banana double cross XY.
Yep.
Okay, is that what? No, I think now Spider. And now I'm in my own head as opposed to just, hey, dude, you go this way and turn right, and I'm going to stick it to you.
Yeah.
Right? It's just enough information.
I think it goes back to normal.
I do too.
Yeah.
I do too. But if it doesn't, Al, all of a sudden we have a totally different conversation. If it doesn't go back to the, now I understand why Cleveland and Carolina both said beat it. If he does it again, what are we talking about next? That's coming up. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN. Football season's heating up, so now's the perfect time.
Hey, Laker fans, John Ireland here. Have you downloaded the new ESPN LA app? You got to get this thing. It's great. You can get Travis and Sliwa, Mason and Ireland, Sedano and Cap, and all of our Lakers talk with Slee right in the palm of your hand.
You're just one tap away from everything Lakers. You could even win Lakers tickets.
React to the Lakers on ESPN LA app.
Download the new ESPN LA app in the App Store or on Google Play.
Yates, Andy Kamenetsky sitting in for the fellas today. Don't forget, we walk you up to coverage. 3:15 p.m., the Buffalo Wild Wings countdown to kickoff gets you ready for Rams, Packers, Monday Night Football at the Frozen Tundra. Kickoff at 5:15. You could hear all of it tonight on 710 ESPN. Meanwhile, Lakers going for 3 straight wins there in the desert. Lakers Suns on our sister station, 11:10 a.m. with the Toyota Lakers countdown to tip-off. Tip-off at 6 p.m. from Phoenix. Got it? Rams on 710, Lakers on 11:10 right now. More of Mason and Ireland with Clinton Yates and AK on 710.
It is, in fact, Travis and Sliwa show. Still, I guess for a little bit. I guess they're trying to invade our space a little bit now. But
all right, Chris, cool, bro.
Sorry, guys, should have checked that.
If they want to come in,
we'll be good.
Okay, don't threaten me with a good time.
But so one of my favorite parts about the football weekend was not necessarily my Steelers wedding and staying quote unquote in the hunt. They're sniffing around. They're not eliminated quite yet, beating the Panthers. But my favorite part was watching the Cowboys lose, and I also just how they lost. It gave me such great joy to just be a hater and see them lose on a last-second pick, and it was just lovely. Do you guys have teams like that where like you just get so happy when they lose?
I have a long list. I have 37 teams that I watched.
All
to
owned by
lose.
Dean Spanos.
Chargers an easy one.
Yeah.
Clippers. I know you say why, Alan. Why the Clippers?
Yeah,
Clippers another one.
No, I know the Clippers are on your list. Because here's why. And I think everybody probably does. You only have, if you're doing it right, you only have one team in each sport, right? So if you're a Laker fan and there's a million other games that don't involve the Lakers and you want to watch these games, you got to have some. I can't watch sports if I don't have a rooting interest in it. It's got to have some juice. You're right, Emily. So I'm not going to really be rooting for anybody, so I want to root against people. I like watching failure in sports. It's super fun.
Being a hater just gives me some joy sometimes because sometimes you're right.
I couldn't agree more. Watching the Cowboys slink off the field after they had the walk-off pick six was great. Watching Tom Brady blow a 17-0 lead against the Bengals was great. I love rooting against people.
Got a little breaking news here. So we get the status report for the Lakers. So AD, LeBron James also out tonight.
Oh, boy.
Austin Reeves also out tonight. So we got a few Laker players. I think I mentioned this to you that Devin Booker's out, some kind of a groin issue that he's having. So for the Lakers tonight, no AD, no LeBron, no Austin Reeves. Juan Toscano's still out.
What's
and then
LeBron's injury?
So left ankle soreness, but I think it probably has
Night
more
off.
to do with the back-to-back.
Yeah.
Probably more to do with the back-to-back.
Okay.
Thomas Bryant.
That's just the reality of being in your 20th season. That's the reality of being a handful of days short of your 38th birthday.
Can I tell you something so stupid? And I find myself doing this. I'm sure you did too when you were, no, LeBron wasn't here yet, but let's just use LeBron James as an example. Yesterday, I'm just kind of going through doing the post-game show, and I'm like, yeah, Bron 39-8 or whatever it was, right? And then I was quickly on to, did you see what Thomas Bryant did? And did you see what Austin Reeves did? The dude's still. And I know we have some nights where he struggles from the field, but for the most part, no, he's a 45% shooter from the field, at least, his efficiency. Sometimes I just got to take a quick second and be like, the dude's in his 20th year. Go look at other players who are in their 20th season. And I'm not
First
telling
of all,
you.
very few people get that far into it, and none of them have done this.
And that's what I'm saying is that if you're playing in your 20th year, you're not the best player on your team, or you're not, somebody that they're depending on by any stretch of the imagination. But there's a Phoenix. You're going up against the Suns. You're not going to have all your main players.
I've said this before, and I think it's more true now than when I started saying it a few years ago. We will not appreciate him, LeBron, until he's done. When LeBron is done, and we're 2-3 years post LeBron, you're going to look at it like, wait, that can't be right. He didn't average 30 a game in his 29th season or his 19th season. Yeah, he did. And it's gonna take the benefit of time passing to really start to look at those things like this doesn't even make any sense. You take it for granted when you see every night. And I'll go to another step. I think you really take it for granted when he's on your team. When you see him every single night, you really start to take it for granted.
Absolutely.
When he was in Cleveland or Miami, you'd see him on TNT. You'd see him on ABC or ESPN on the weekends.
Sports Center would go out of their way to show him.
Yeah, but you weren't watching him 82 times a night or a season. When you see him every night, and to your point, he had 39-8 or whatever the numbers were. It's like, yeah, okay, you just move past it because you know the next one's coming too. When he's on your team, you start to take him for granted more than you were on another team. And until he's gone, which who knows when that's going to happen, then it's going to be one of those. You go back and you look at Will Chamberlain's numbers. You're like, wait, this doesn't even make any sense. You go back and you look at Kareem doing all that. That doesn't make any sense. Jordan, he's going to be one of those guys that if you see it every night, says, oh, yeah, he's just a great player in the league. Yeah, but he's in his 20th year. It won't be until well past his retirement that you really can understand the full scope of what he brings to the league.
So he's had, by the way, I was like that with Kobe too. Kobe, I knew. For sure. I'm like, by the time Kobe is done playing in the game, I'm going to look back and be like, yeah, I took all those games for granted, or a lot of them. And that's not to say you didn't have certain moments where you really appreciated what he was doing. It was kind of funny. So LeBron passed Magic in all-time assists a couple weeks ago. And then I want to say on like Friday, he passed Hakeem for number 9 in steals.
Okay.
It's like one of those. I'm like, I feel like every like once a month or so, he's passing another great, and it's not just in his one category.
I know, that's the thing.
It's like, yeah, that player was known as a rebounder. Dennis Rodman is known as a rebounder. Johnson is known as somebody who dished the ball. Jordan was known as he's all of them. Taking a piece of a little bit of everybody, which goes to the longevity as well, playing 20 years.
It's until he's done, you're not going to appreciate it for what it is. Which makes his pursuit of Kareem odd to me, right? And look, he's going to catch him somewhere in February is what it looks like, assuming he continues on the pace that he's on right now. But I don't know. I can only speak for myself, but it does not feel like one of those things that, he's a little closer. He's a little closer. You're maybe as we get closer to it, you'll start to get more invested in it. But because Kareem is one of the great all-time players, but he's not particularly well liked by a lot of people. If this were Jordan, it'd be totally different. If this were Kobe, it'd be totally different. If this were a player like that, it would be this, oh my gosh, he's going to catch him and how's it going to. But because Kareem is, respected but not loved the way that a lot of other players are, that adds an element to it. Because LeBron has bounced around from team to team in his career, that adds a little bit of a different element to it. It feels slightly odd that, and by the way, that they don't like each other is really strange too, that they're going to be on the same court at the same time for arguably the most impressive NBA record there is, most points ever scored. And I'm sure there's grudging respect between the two of them, but clearly they don't like each other. It's all of these things mixed together bring a really weird cocktail of emotions as you get close to this unbelievable event.
I will tell you, I have definitely, I know it's coming, but I haven't been like, he's this far away now. Oh, he's this.
So it's going to happen in a few weeks, couple of months. And it's like, yeah, we know it, but it feels weird.
When it starts getting down to, he's within 5 games of doing it. When he's a couple 100 points away.
Yeah.
I think all the media news will start shifting towards that. I think maybe we're just far enough to where it's not.
That they don't like each other makes it really weird.
Yeah, I know.
And that they're in the same universe. They're both in the Laker universe. If Kareem had just had Kareem's career and LeBron was getting ready to break this record,
and he's in Cleveland,
that they don't like each other. Okay, whatever. They never probably spent a lot of time. Blah 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 blah. There's been so many opportunities for them to connect.
Yeah,
and that and the opposite has happened. It's weird. It's weird. What is he going to have, a handshake? Thank you. You're welcome. Peace.
Well, I think I forgot who it was. Strange. I forgot who it was that said, well, what if it happens on the road? Well, it doesn't matter, because even if it happens on the road, they're obviously going to do something at Crypto when he does come back.
Right.
And you'd expect Kareem to be there as well.
You would expect. I'm busy. I got a reservation that night that I've been holding on to. Not going to be able to make it. I wouldn't be surprised. It is a weird
to see Avatar that
deal.
night. 3.5 hours.
Why not, right? It is a weird deal. All right, Kirk Morrison, who is my partner on the Buffalo Wild Wings Countdown to Kickoff show, as well as the Coors Light postgame show. You can hear both of those today.
And an Aztec.
That's right. Pregame show starting at 3:15. That would be the Buffalo Wild Wings Countdown to Kickoff. So you'll hear Kirk and I do that coming up in just a little bit. But Kirk's going to join us next, because when Kirk isn't doing Rams games or doing college football, he does a little weekend NFL occasionally. He was in the booth for the Raiders and Patriots last night. So we'll get a firsthand perspective. It's coming up next. It's Travis Slee, 710.
Favorite gift giver here in the office is John Ireland because he's rich and he gives you money.
It's really easy. John Ireland. He gives you money and he gives you a decent amount of it.
Emily, she gives the best gifts. She's thoughtful and gives it consideration. It's not quick and easy. She's a good gift giver.
Clinton Yates. He gives amazing gifts.
Raj just got, last year a guy got me some bourbon, so I think Travis kind of knows what to get.
I think Mason. He and I have a lot of similar interests. I'll just leave it at that.
Greg Bergman.
John Ireland is the guy. He's got the dough. He's got the gated community. I think I'd get the best gift from him.
I would like to get something from Chris Morales.
Definitely Scott Kaplan because he gives you gifts from his friends' companies and then asks you to post about it on social media.
Scott Kaplan, because it'll have cited written all over it, or going to be some bad material robe kind of thing he gave us last year, whatever it was.
Don't even finish the question. Sliwa.
Bird, because he doesn't stock his fridge very well, so I don't think he'd be that good at giving gifts.
I think Taylor probably is not going to care that much, so I'm going to go Taylor on that one. I'll go Taylor.
Sorry, Emily, but you probably just try to give me a Spotify account. I don't want that.
Steve Mason.
Alan Sliwa, no question. Alan Sliwa, don't want a gift from him. I don't think he's got good taste. He's got a Pixel phone. I mean, come on.
How about you behind the phone there, behind the camera?
All day long. Each weekday, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. This is Travis and Sliwa on 710 ESPN.
So something happened in the NFL yesterday that you will 100% be seeing 50 years from now.
Oh, yeah. No question about that.
The dumbest plays, the most inexplicable conclusions to football games get rerun over and over. Think Herm Edwards picking up a botched fumble with time and running in. That play happened about 50 years ago. We're still seeing it. Okay, think Garo Yepremian in the Super Bowl throwing that pass.
You don't even have to stay in the NFL. Think of any sport, any idiotic play that you could think of.
Buckner.
This will be on the list.
It's maybe at the top of the list. Our pal Kirk Morrison was in Allegiant Stadium yesterday in Las Vegas. Got to see it. Kirk, you played in the NFL for nearly a decade. You played college football, high school football, Pop Warner. You've covered football for I don't know how long. In your life, have you ever seen anything like that?
Travis, I've seen a lot of things, but I'll tell you this. What I saw yesterday at Allegiant, had never seen it before, never. I mean, I've been in, last play of game victories or last play of game defeats. I've seen some very quirky things. I've seen comebacks. I've seen, teams that have, won on a last-second field goal, or I even had in college. I remember I lost on a blocked field goal with no time left. I had seen it all. And I've seen Hail Marys and been a part of a Hail Mary when I was in Jacksonville. I have never seen the ending to what I saw yesterday at Allegiant Stadium between the Patriots and the Raiders. I'm still kind of stunned. Like, it never really happened, but it truly did. And I think what really summed it up for me is, as I was walking through the parking lot back to my hotel, I saw a Patriots fan literally vomiting out of his car, and I think that was kind of
gosh,
a symbol of kind of really what happened yesterday for the Patriots and how they lost that football game.
Okay, Kirk, I got a question. Help me understand. What do you think? Like, I've read Jacoby Myers. I read his actual quote. We got a chance to listen to him. What is he thinking? Do you think he forgets that the game is tied? I mean, help me understand, because even, Trav keeps hitting on this too. Let's say he connects and he throws it back and Mac Jones has the ball 50 yards away. What does he think is going to happen? Do you think he just thought for a second, wait, I just got a lateral thrown to me? Do you think he forgot that they're tied?
Yeah, definitely forgot. I think he got lost in the moment, lost into what the situation was. The New England Patriots were situational masters. That's the one thing I've always admired about the organization. Yeah, yesterday was not it. So there's a lot of blame to go around. And for me, I think the blame falls fairly on their head coach, Bill Belichick. I really do, because he appointed, Matt Patricia, Joe Judge as his offensive coordinators. I think sometimes, as, we were our parents instilled in us, hey, this is what you do and what not to do. And they sent us out to the world to make sure we do the right thing. And then even now, as a parent for me, I try to tell my kids what to do, and yet when they go out to the world, they're going to do what they do. Yesterday, Bill Belichick was not a good parent, because there is no way that your kids are supposed to act like that during that play. Like, you have to know that you cannot allow that sort of play. Why not even take it out of the hands of your kids at times and just down the football, right? Just go take a knee. You take a knee, the game's over. You go to overtime. So it was just a whole bunch of miscommunication, but more importantly, man, you just got to take the ball out sometimes out of your own players' hands.
Kirk's joining us. He was calling the game yesterday in Las Vegas, the Patriots and the Raiders, in one of the most bizarre endings that you're ever going to see in the history of sports, in the NFL in particular. Kirk, like you said, you listed off all the things that you've been a part of, game-ending Hail Marys and blocked kicks and all of these things. What does the team do when Jacoby Myers walks back into that locker room, walks onto the plane, walks into the facility today to get treatment? I mean, it's a team sport and everybody's in this together, but when you have such a catastrophic, terrible decision that not only loses you a game, it knocked them out of the playoff picture.
Lose you a playoff spot.
It could be the thing that keeps them from going to the postseason. What do the other 50-some-odd guys on the team think? What do you say? Is there anything you can do?
Honestly, you just move on to the next game. I mean, it's crazy to think that, but I think we all know what happened, and I think you can't really beat a dead horse, right? It's already happened. You move on from it. It's a learning experience. Does it hurt? Yeah. But I think me and you always talk about it, right, Travis? This is a league that is week to week. I mean, you could be of the lowest of lows, and the next week they could come back and beat the Cincinnati Bengals, who are one of the better teams in the AFC, and all is almost sort of forgotten what happened the week prior. I mean, I think the case in point for that is the Raiders. I mean, me and you saw the Raiders 10 days ago at SoFi Stadium get beat by Baker Mayfield, who was only on the Rams for 48 hours. And with two drives, came back from a 16-3 lead, and the Raiders lost 17-16. Now, 10 days later, they win the way that they did. So you talk about the emotional roller coaster for the Raiders, who probably went in their locker room after the Rams game and said, "Oh my God!" And they're pointing around, looking at each other, and yet they won this way. So I think with Jacoby Myers, he goes in the locker room. Guys are going to wrap their arms around him. You give him a hug. Hey, it's not on you. There was also other opportunities, and that's what Bill Belichick, as a head coach, is going to tell his players. It is not all on one play. We should have won this game.
But it was. That's the thing, Kurt. But it was.
I love the way you turned all that. That was amazing the way you did it. I think Travis and I, our point is, it is all on you. I think we would tell him, I don't want you to forget, wake up late tonight.
Like
and just remember,
the Colts blowing a 33-point lead, we all get a piece of it. Then we don't all get a piece of it. Am I crazy?
No, I think too. I think
Kirk, you're a good teammate. That's what you are. You are a good teammate. Yeah. That's what it was.
Well, I can look at Marcus Jones on the opposite side, who was the corner, and you're in a situation where a team needs a touchdown, and yet you get beat behind you by Keelan Cole for a touchdown. That's not on the Raiders making a play. That's bad defense, in my opinion. It happened not knowing the situation. So there will be plays, and I'm talking Bill Belichick because this is what happens too. And I've been here before, to where think about how many times maybe Scott Norwood in the Buffalo Bills did everything to win a football game, and then Scott Norwood misses a field goal wide right. We know he feels bad. One of the worst misses in field goal in the NFL history, right? And so we know what's at stake, but yet the head coach has to come in and say, we can't put it all on one play, fellas. I want to show you plays throughout the game where it should have never came to that. And that's how everybody takes accountability. That's what good coaches do, to where no one feels like it was just one person's fault. Now, us as analysts and fans, it's Jacoby Myers' fault. He did this. But we forget, why did even Ramondre Stevenson throw the ball back?
Yeah, we don't know.
First guy he threw
we
it
don't
out.
know.
Like, everybody's at fault.
It was a mess. One more before we let you go, Kirk. What did you make of Mac Jones's technique as a tackler?
It was poor. It was worse. So like you said, it was blame to go around. At the end of the day, Mac, just get him down. Even if he would have tripped him, Travis, think about it.
Right, it's a penalty, but he's not in the end zone.
Penalty sounds good.
Right. It's take a penalty. So at least get him down. If you trip him, at least look, okay, it's a penalty. Raiders still got to kick a field goal to win the game. And like you said, you know what? It was a bad play. We lost. But the effort on that tackle was just, come on, man.
Raiders were also getting a touchdown with Darren Waller. His toe was out of bounds, but it's okay. We won't go into that.
The toe was out of bounds. It was just like so much that was going on in those final minutes. The officials had a really, really rough weekend this weekend, and that's what dominated, I think, the headlines in the NFL. But you know what? It was some great games, good quarterback play. It was a lot, and we still got one game left tonight. How about that?
Kirk, I'm going to squeeze this one in, and it's on tonight's game.
Sure.
More likely that Baker Mayfield rides that momentum from 10 days ago, or he comes back down to earth and is the Baker Mayfield that we've seen these last couple of years?
No, I think he's more comfortable. Baker Mayfield is playing with house money. He's not going in to save the season. He's not going in to, bring the Rams to promise. And no, he's going in to really prove that he's still a starting quarterback in this league. And if you give me the right tools and the right coaches, this is who I can be. So I think that he's going to play at a much better clip. And I think the Rams are going to compete. You're seeing right now, Sean McVay and Les Snead are chopping dudes left and right. So if you don't play up to a standard tonight, you may not be on this roster tomorrow or even next year. So as a player, that scares me to death. So I know the kind of performance we're going to get out of Baker Mayfield because he doesn't want to be one of those guys.
Kirk Morrison was on the call for the Raiders and the Patriots in one of the most bizarre, stupid, crazy endings you're ever going to see. He will be a part of the Buffalo Wild Wings countdown to kickoff. Kirk, we start at 3:15 today.
I got the message.
All right, we'll see you at 3:15. Thanks, buddy.
All right, sounds good.
You got it. For the first time ever, last week against the Raiders, Kirk was late. In 7 years, it's the first time he's been late.
Did he think it was a different time?
It was 3:30.
And it was 3:15?
It was 3:15, yeah. So, whenever I get the chance to kind of stick it in a little bit and twist the knife and, just be a bad guy, I like to take advantage of these
And I like his
sorts
response.
of things.
I got it. Freaking got it.
You jerk. All right. The Dump coming up next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN.
Favorite gift giver here in the office is John Ireland because he's rich and he gives you money.
It's really easy. John Ireland. He gives you money and he gives you a decent amount of it.
Emily, she gives the best gifts. She's thoughtful and gives it consideration. It's not quick and easy. She's a good gift giver.
Clinton Yates. He gives amazing gifts.
Raj just got, last year a guy got me some bourbon, so I think Travis kind of knows what to get.
I think Mason. He and I have a lot of similar interests. I'll just leave it at that.
Greg Bergman.
John Ireland is the guy. He's got the dough. He's got the gated community. I think I'd get the best gift from him.
I would like to get something from Chris Morales.
Definitely Scott Kaplan because he gives you gifts from his friends' companies and then asks you to post about it on social media.
Scott Kaplan, because it'll have cited written all over it, or going to be some bad material robe kind of thing he gave us last year, whatever it was.
Don't even finish the question. Sliwa.
Bird, because he doesn't stock his fridge very well, so I don't think he'd be that good at giving gifts.
I think Taylor probably is not going to care that much, so I'm going to go Taylor on that one. I'll go Taylor.
Sorry, Emily, but you probably just try to give me a Spotify account. I don't want that.
Steve Mason.
Alan Sliwa, no question. Alan Sliwa, don't want a gift from him. I don't think he's got good taste. He's got a Pixel phone. I mean, come on.
How about you behind the phone there, behind the camera?
So, Messi and Argentina are World Cup champions in one of the greatest World Cup finals, maybe the greatest World Cup final of all time.
They're going to be partying in Argentina until...
How would you know, Travis?
I read.
For 3 years.
I'm prepared, Emily. It's not like I just showed up and didn't know what was going on. Andres Cantor is the soccer guy that soccer people don't know, right? Like even people like myself who don't follow soccer all that closely know Andres Cantor.
Yep.
He is an Argentinian American, and this was his call when they won the cup. So you don't have to speak Spanish to know what he's saying right there.
Jeez.
That is so great.
Do you not feel that?
It's terrific.
And if you haven't, obviously there's the audio right there. There's a lot going on Twitter and other all the other social media platforms. He's got his phone set up, so you can actually watch him do it, and it's as good as it sounds. It looks just as good as well. It really kind of just brings chills.
Well,
to you.
what it is, and it is real. It is real. It is real,
it's
and
authentic.
It is emotional, and it is in his DNA and in his soul, and it's all coming out in that moment. This is not calling anyone out specifically. This is not, I'm going to write a line for the end of the World Cup, and when it happens, I'm going to say it, and hopefully it sounds right. It has to come from the place
No
that you
question
have to
about
have
it.
in your heart. And if you don't have it in your heart, you can call it. You can say Argentina wins the World Cup. You can call it, but it will never sound like that, where it's just coming from this place inside you where it is a real thing. And that's what Andres Cantor has.
such a good explanation of you're right, you can script something, you can write it, you can this, you can that, but the greatest calls are always one. You go back and you play Vince Scully how many different times, my idol Chick Hearn. There ain't no, hey, if this happens in this situation, this is what I'm going to say. You can see right through that. That is as, I don't know how many times I heard that thing yesterday, but in my head I'm like, that is just unbelievable.
It's really, really cool. I'm not a soccer person, but that's awesome. It's hard not to hear that and get caught up with that. Messi's World Cup victory post is the most liked Instagram post by a sports person in history. It is at 42 million likes and counting, Al. Soccer popular around the world. That's my takeaway from his post.
All right, I got bad news. Didn't even see the post, so I'm gonna have to get on there.
Hold on, it just updated. 42 million and one.
Still working on it.
You've got it covered.
How many did Mbappe's have? I'm sure it has something up there too.
Did he have a we just missed kind of post kind of deal?
I haven't seen it yet, but I'm sure he has something up. It sucks for him too because he played so well. He had a hat trick. Like it's just
got 4.
Yeah. Yeah, should have. You should have told him that.
3 goals in the World Cup at age 23.
It's nuts. Well, that's how old is Messi?
36.
So they were talking about this may be the end of his World Cup career, right? Because he's in his mid-30s.
He's 34.
34. So, maybe he could come back at 38. Maybe not. Time will tell. Mbappe is going to be in that thing for the foreseeable future. You're going to be in your 50s, and Mbappe is still going to be running around doing his thing. God willing, he doesn't get hurt.
Just liked it.
There you go. Now it's at 42 million and one along the way. Dodger legend Clayton Kershaw will be playing in the World Baseball Classic for Team USA, which runs from March 8th through the 21st. Okay, that's fine.
Is it okay? Is that all right?
It's as long as we don't do anything weird. If this is just basically part of his spring training ramp up,
okay,
cool.
All right.
But if he goes out there and pitches 7 innings to go beat Korea, we got a problem. Right? I don't need that. If you want to,
he's trying to leave the game. They're like, nope, you gave up 2. We got the closer set up already. Don't screw this up, Clayton.
Look, if you want to go throw your 22 pitches against Venezuela, great. Let's get it in. Get a sweat going. We'll call it a nice heavy bullpen, if you will. But that's got to be what it is.
Do most of, and I actually don't know this, do most of the players, the Major League Baseball players, do most of them play in this that represent the USA or not really?
Say that again.
So Kershaw's going to play in this. Do most other American players play in this? I don't feel like
this
they
one
do.
That's coming up, we have a better group of star players than we have previously.
Okay.
It's baseball, right? There's no good time to do this. If you do it at the beginning of the season, guys aren't stretched out and ready to go. You're not going to shut down in the middle of the season to do this. And at the end of the season, you've just played 6-7 months worth of baseball. You're not going to say, okay, cool, I'm glad you just pitched 200 innings. I need another 30 from you to go pitch in the World. It's a weird deal. It's just the nature of the sport where you're asking these guys to do things that they typically don't do. I love it. If you, by the way, other than maybe soccer, this may be one of the most competitive international sports that you can have because North America plays.
Yep.
South America plays. The Caribbean plays. Portions of Europe play. Australia plays. Canada. Like there are Asia. Tons of good Asian teams. Like you have these teams from all over the place. It could be incredibly competitive.
Well, it's different. I don't want to just compare, basketball. But in basketball, you're pretty much like, look, if the Americans are playing,
right,
they're going to win.
Right.
If at worst they're top 3, but they're going to win. It just depends who they throw out there.
Cuba. Venezuela, Colombia, United States, Mexico, Puerto Rico, the Dominican Republic, Korea, Japan. If any of those teams, Taiwan, if any of those teams would be like, yeah, okay. I mean, that's 10 teams going into that. You're like, yeah, those all make perfect sense to me. That's you don't get that a lot, only in soccer, and that's why I was so excited about the World Cup final yesterday morning. I just want to have Andres Cantor narrate my life for a day. Sandwich! edge. He could be so fired up when I took something to eat. Steven Spielberg.
Travis Rogers eats a sandwich.
He regrets the impact Jaws had on the shark community. Quote,
Dad, what are you doing? It's Shark Week.
I truly and to this day regret the decimation of the shark population because of the book and the film. I really, truly regret that. That's one of these things I still fear. Not to get eaten by a shark, but that sharks are somehow mad at me for the feeding frenzy of crazy sport fishermen that happened after 1975.
Well, I got some news for Steven. I don't think whether he comes out with Jaws or not, I'm not looking at National Geographic was going to show these predators doing what they're doing.
Not like that. Not climbing onto the deck of the boat to eat a guy in half.
Yeah, but I think,
Like being like vindictive. Like this shark is coming
Yeah,
for
he had a
you
bad attitude.
specifically. Yeah.
I get that, but I don't think I was also walking away saying, well, I have to worry about, maybe other people were.
I was convinced after he was done with Robert Shaw, he was coming for me. That's how that was going to go. I thought that sharks were going to come to the beach just to eat people because that's what they do.
Do you have a fear at all of going into the ocean? Some
Yes.
people do. A lot of people
Yes.
do. Look, I don't have it. Now I'm probably going to get eaten.
You should go watch Jaws again and decide if you still do. Yeah. Not only that movie's 1975, so I was 5 years old when that movie came out.
Mm-hmm.
I think I saw it maybe a summer or two later, and my Uncle Keith took me to see it, so I was 7 or 8. It messed me up forever. I have never, to this day, gone into the ocean.
I don't know why that's kind of funny.
I'll
to
go
me.
in. I will go swimming in the ocean.
Yeah, you said
occasionally.
you and Michael will
I
go.
do.
Or yeah,
I will do it. I've never stepped foot in the ocean since then and not thought, well, this could be it. This could be the last time I get to do this. I know it doesn't happen. I know it's like a lightning strike.
Just don't go deep enough.
Oh, see, this is your biggest mistake. They come in shallow.
Yeah,
enough.
sharks are in the shallow.
You
most
don't have
of the
to
time.
go out deep. They come in and see you.
Now, I don't think you guys understand how shallow. I think I'm literally.
So here's the thing. They have the drones that go over now, and they take all these.
Oh, I've seen those.
They're 10 feet off the wave.
Yeah, that I've
Yeah,
seen.
you go
They're
into
right
take
there.
care of your business, and then there's a shark.
That I've seen.
But also, it's like Jaws invented the summer blockbuster. It was like that was the biggest thing, and I think that Steven Spielberg, though he says this, I don't think he regrets doing Jaws whatsoever.
Yates, you got to come in here for this last one. We'll get Super Crosstalk started here because an iguana caused a large-scale outage in Lake Worth Beach, Florida earlier this month. It is the third iguana-triggered outage
in
that the city
city
has
this year.
experienced. So we'll get into that next on Super Crosstalk.
ESPN
Woo, 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 woo. No Mason today. No Ireland today. But the big CY, Clinton Yates, Andy Kamenetsky,
AK in the
Mason
house.
in Ireland today. Andy, once you're set up, we can talk about how I think we're the only two people on Earth that were not enthralled by the World Cup final along
And
the
Michael
way.
Thompson wants to know why you guys ghosted him. He called the both of you yesterday.
And I heard you
at 7 in the morning.
proudly proclaiming this. Taylor as well. Ha! You think I watch World Cup?
Yeah,
what
it's
do I
not
look
a-
like?
it's
what
not
do I
our
look
best.
like?
It's not our best here.
What do I look like? Some straight cisgender tall white guy? Oh wait, that's both of you.
Oh, sorry, I missed it.
Why do you care what I like?
I
This
don't
is the
care
part
what
I
you
don't
like,
understand.
but the idea is that here's the deal. I actually got out of my bed and walked to a local establishment to watch this. Why?
Good for you.
Because the humans who enjoy this are the type of humans that get out and do this. This is kind of why we do it all. And here's the other thing. It was the best men's World Cup final of all time. So that there was a bonus element to people getting on you because of that. Don't get me wrong. The final, normally not the best match. But in this one, you got a banger. You got dealing with both the French and the Argentine populations. Lovely populations, if you get my meaning here. It was a great time being out.
Here's what I was hoping for.
What's that?
I know he doesn't like soccer, which is fine. I'm not
I'm
here
not
sitting.
concerned about that.
I'm not here
I
sitting
don't
watching soccer
dislike
matches
it. I
all
don't
the time.
care. There's a difference.
Okay, but there's not caring is a pretty. That's not that far off from saying that. Yeah, I don't care about that sport. I'm not. You're not paying attention to it.
Yes,
but I'm kind of the same way as well. I was hoping, and this is what it is. If he's not getting into yesterday's game, you're not going to get into a game.
No.
I thought you'd get caught up in it. I thought somebody could not be a football fan or like
had I been watching it, I may had gotten caught up in it.
Well, okay, right. But what I'm saying is, like, if 710 had a watch party, would you go?
If I was contractually obligated to attend, I would attend.
Not quit my job over this.
Right. Yeah, I'm not a lunatic.
I guess what I meant is amongst people who know how to throw a good party, if there's one surrounding the World Cup final, which is effectively the Super Bowl of global sports, just in the context of, no, most people who watch the World Cup final are not necessarily soccer fans. They're just tuning in or joining for the party.
I like a good
loves
time.
it.
If there's
AK loves
wings
it.
and beer, I'll show up to a party. But I don't. No, I mean, I don't feel like I missed anything. I guess is the point I'm getting at.
No, you missed a lot. Okay, first of all,
not to me.
It's really good. First of all, for me,
the point. This is the point. That it was good or not is not my point.
Okay.
It was good.
Okay, but Trav, it's the same thing as somebody who knows nothing about football.
Sure.
And they go to a Super Bowl party or they watch the Super Bowl. And they get into it. They're not going to go watch weeks 1 through 17 or 1 through 18, but they get into it for that moment. That's it. It's nothing more than that. I mean,
look, let's just be honest about this. What you're talking about, Alan, that's an American culture thing, the Super Bowl party that transcends whether or not the guests all like football or not.
Certainly.
America is not a soccer culture. Therefore, the once every 4 years party is not going to infiltrate American culture, broadly speaking, because obviously there were a lot of Americans who got caught up in the World Cup and enjoyed, and that's great for all of them. But it's not apples to apples.
No,
because
but
you're not talking about.
But this is a bit of a misnomer because the notion that America isn't a soccer culture is not the point. You know how many people are in England? Like total. There are more American soccer fans in the United States of America.
Right,
just on numbers alone.
But England
forget
is
about the percentage.
But England is a soccer.
I know.
It's in the fabric of their
What I'm
sports.
saying is this: there's still more people that actually enjoy the game.
Okay.
And so when you talk about these pockets of humans where it's like, oh no, nobody's trying to convince anybody to like anything, but you're going to find yourself a good party when you get there. I think that's kind of what I'm getting at, and you might enjoy that. That's what I'm saying. As a man that I know enjoys a good party, you might enjoy that.
Travis to be honest, because I know Travis pretty well. Travis enjoys the accoutrements of a party.
That's what I'm saying.
More than the actual party.
Absolutely.
He doesn't necessarily need to be amongst the people. If you send him all the stuff that's at the party to
then
his
he doesn't
house,
need to go.
He doesn't need to meet any of these human beings.
That's a good point.
That's exactly
I
right.
understand.
Just
Travis.
leave everything at the front door.
The
If
party
I were
a
gonna
la
write
carte, if you will.
If there was going to be a biography, I'd like you to write it, Andy.
Just Instacart Travis all the stuff that you would enjoy at the party.
Did you
and
see?
he's good.
Did you see a missed call from Michael yesterday morning?
Michael Thompson.
Oh, is that why he was calling me?
There it is.
He called the
It's
two of
amazing.
us.
Amazing.
As the
So
two
Michael tells
resident
me yesterday.
non-soccer fans.
Michael tells me yesterday. I see Michael, and I know he's obviously. I knew he was going to be excited about the game. The last couple of weeks, he's wanted to talk World Cup during the pregame show. So,
oh, really?
He's obviously excited about.
Did not know that.
What's happening. But he said, "Do you know I called 2 people this morning? I called Travis Rogers. I called Andy Kamenetsky. Neither of them answered." I'm like, okay, did they hit you back? Did they text you back? He goes, nothing.
I thought he was butt dialing me.
So
It was like 6:30 in the
Michael,
morning.
what are you doing? Call the big CY.
Well,
what
he
are
knows,
you doing?
He did that on purpose.
Oh, so
'cause
he was
knows,
trolling you guys.
He's not even trolling. He knows that he was trying to get them to answer and say, guys, the World Cup's about to start.
Oh, so-
Watch the World Cup.
Telephone tree?
Something like that.
Both of them ghosted him.
I love that.
Well, again, though, the first call was at 6:05, which
Yeah.
I mean, my immediate
the broadcast starts at 6. The game starts at 7. First kick. We all know this.
right. My
all
immediate
of us.
response is Michael must be butt dialing me on accident because A is often for to let people behind the curtain
Andy.
butt dials. Andy, the higher up you get into the alphabet, the more likely you are to get butt dialed.
That's an excellent point. I did not realize that.
So this happens to me. So I figured it's 6 in the morning, and I've already forgotten about our conversations Friday about the World Cup, and it's 6 in the morning. I'm not really thinking anyway.
Did he call again?
Yes, he called again at 7. To which I'm like, the hell, dude?
So
wow,
I was.
So he was committed.
Are you not texting me?
I was.
I'm texting.
I'm trying to sleep, man.
So I was up because I'm old and I can't sleep anymore.
Sure.
Right. So but I was not near my phone.
No.
So I go back to my phone, and Michael's first call to me was like at 7:10, and I look at it and I see a missed call. I'm like,
what a company, man.
Had to be a butt dial. Had to be a butt dial, and I don't think too much about it. Then About an hour later, I get another call from him. I'm like, why is Michael trying to get to me at 7 o'clock on a Sunday? I'm like, oh, it's got to be the World Cup.
Check out your missed calls, your missed call times, because I also got one at 7:10 a.m.
Wow.
What were your other times,
Hold on.
Travis?
I'm going to look right now.
You
guys talk amongst yourselves.
So in the interim, I'll tell you guys that I did have, speaking of accoutrement, let's just say that I bought something from the store in my neighborhood.
7:14 and 8:47.
Okay.
Wow, he went 8:47.
I got 6:05 for my first, which is really
That's early.
That's the big double middle fingers. You've already lost me at this point. Then 7:10, then 8:48.
Well, I'm going to ask Michael and Pre, why was there an hour difference between? I mean, the times are all.
Maybe
over
he
the
had an
place
hour's
here.
worth of people to call.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Andy's A, Travis
The
is
telephone
T.
tree is
He
long,
has to
right?
work
Hey,
through
Trace,
all the other letters.
Trace, are you up? Clay.
So I got something. I got a let's just call it a gift from across the street, the place that I buy things from regularly during the week in my neighborhood, if you get my point. It's a soccer ball. And when I first walked into this establishment to get it, I was like, oh, I want one of those. Whatever. I'll take whatever the price. I want one. It's a trinket from World Cup. I want it. I bought two, as a matter of fact. I went back into the store 2 days later, having completely forgotten about the things that I had bought at the store because I was coming home from work. I had been at happy hour, whatever. Some things just end up on the couch in a bag. You forget about them until the next morning. A couple days later, I walk by a poster in said place, and I go, oh, right, I bought those. And then I realize, I'm like, those aren't just soccer balls. There's something inside of these things. But I couldn't figure out how to get the stupid ball open. So I had to go to YouTube and find a guy, and sure enough, let's just say different toys of all different varieties from like 6 that were branded for 6 different countries that were like all in the thing. Coolest thing I'd ever seen. I gave one to my buddy. He was like, you're serious? This is a gift? I can keep what's inside and I can keep the ball? Absolutely. So for those of you who saw, perhaps on my
Now you're
IG
getting me into
story.
soccer.
Yeah, see?
Now
No,
we're-
see,
that's what
I
hooked him.
knew.
That's what
I
hooked
knew.
him.
Those of you who saw my IG story and saw a picture of a soccer ball in which I pointed arrows at Croatia and Morocco because they played in the third place game, that was just a little coded message to those who know what's actually going on.
What's kind of weird
I'll show you
is-
the pictures offline later.
What's weird is
great.
they didn't watch Sunday's game, but they both caught Croatia and Morocco for
yeah,
third
Saturday.
place.
Saturday,
for third place. They both, which was so
Oh.
weird. That was the game they both cared about. They didn't care about the final. The third place game is what got them.
Yeah, what do you got? Okay. Oh, you got to open that up for me. Oh, yeah.
Wait, this is Miss Croatia,
now
right?
we're talking about it. Look, by the way, I'm a soccer fan now.
Right.
That seeing what's inside those soccer balls
all it took.
makes me incredibly exciting.
all it took.
Not that reminded me of anything, Clinton, but did you go to Mike Tyson's event? Did you go see Iron Mike?
I did not end up at that. He was gone by the time I could get there, and so I did not bring the gifts. That's why I kind of felt bad, too.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry.
I wanted to see if Mike was in full Mike Tyson.
What
mode.
event? What event was this?
He was going to go see
Good
Mike in a
brand.
local dispensary. Mike he did make an appearance, and you just didn't get there
I
in
didn't
time?
get there because by the time I got out of here after a crosstalk, I checked the thing, and I was going to be getting there right when he was leaving, and I didn't want to risk it and be all out. back
Okay,
there, so
very quickly,
I
guys.
did other things.
What we saw the Patriots do at the end of the game yesterday.
not bad.
Is that the dumbest play in NFL history, considering that it was a tie game that could have gone to overtime? Is I know there's the
Playoffs
Joe
on the line.
Pisarcik, Herm Edwards moment, which we still see 50 years later. There's Garo Yepremian. There's
Sure.
Leon Lett ×2. He has 2 of those along the way. But I don't know, because here's the thing, and Al's heard me scream about this for the last 3 hours. What did he expect Mac Jones to do with the ball once he got it?
I'll bet.
You're not throwing it back to Michael Vick.
I'll bet he thought Mac Jones could have thrown it again.
That's
I think
exactly
he just didn't.
So
know
he
the
doesn't
rule.
know- he
I
doesn't
think
know the
yes,
rules?
because the
What is this, outside
the-
cul-de-sac
the
football game?
yeah, well, Calvin Ball is real. I mean, like the audacity of the play, and then the fact that he even explained after the game. He said, "I thought I saw the quarterback open." He didn't say Mac Jones, elite athlete. He said, "I thought I saw the quarterback open," leading me
Does
to
this
believe
not
he
make it
thought.
worse?
No, it kind of does, but at the same time, it's like, bro, this is a Bill Belichick coach team. How does this happen? I'm not depending on special teams players to make great plays at the end of games.
It
regularly.
wasn't a special teams play.
Well,
it was a
I-
regular
I
play.
get it, but I'm saying like in a sort of special. What I mean is like a close game situation.
If I guess the idea, I mean, because obviously you should just take yourself to overtime and start over again, obviously. But if you are trying to bring this thing to fruition, you are trying your best to keep that ball with live possibilities.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the logic. It's not good logic, but that's the logic.
Galactically stupid. Agreed.
So the only
or he didn't
thing-
know the score.
That's it.
Yeah.
The other part of this, and I have two theories here. Number one is he just didn't know the score, and so he thought they had to score to win the game, that they were behind. The other part is the first Patriots player who threw the lateral, Ramonde Stevens.
That wasn't necessarily a much better play.
It wasn't. It was less risky, but equally stupid,
and probably created panic.
Yes.
And I wonder if that wasn't the moment where Myers said, he must know something I don't. Maybe I don't know the score. If he threw it to me, we must be behind.
You know what?
And
though?
then he panicked.
Yeah.
We have seen like how many of those in our collective lives watching football. Those toss the ball around, toss the ball around, lateral. They're just like us. They've watched a million of those too, and our instinct is always keep the ball live.
Yeah,
but they weren't behind.
That's why I said it's effectively a special teams play.
That's what kills it. Is
Yeah,
it's a
that
tie game.
instinct though takes over. It's just you need to keep this ball live.
I tend
at
to
all
agree.
costs.
Does no one in the huddle goes, guys, it's a tie score. If we get it, great, but nothing crazy here. I mean,
well, they're not even
ball
throwing
security.
a Hail Mary. You're basically just saying, hey, we're going to overtime. The play call is we're going to overtime. They're not throwing it 60 yards.
Is the play? Well, listen. Belichick said after the game the reason he didn't go to the end zone is he can't throw it that far.
Mm-hmm.
Like that doesn't,
Which has been proven to be false.
right? Meaning, I don't know that the play was to just go to ground. You know what I mean? If they had a play drawn up that they thought the play was not to throw it backwards 40 yards across the field
to the quarterback.
But if they thought that they could get some kind of a play
slow,
off,
unathletic quarterback,
man.
But you just think he's going to
That was
throw
really
it to
bad.
someone else. Like, if anyone can find somebody open for this lateral, it's your quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, the guy doesn't know the rules. I told you, one of the smartest things I ever learned when I first started covering football in college was that I'll never forget this. The offensive coordinator, he said, bro, you know why they have scoreboards on both ends of the football field? He was like, it's for the players. These guys do not remember things in situationals the way that you would expect them to because, they're knocking each other around all the time, and it's kind of hectic. He's like, trust me, guys forget situations a lot more than anybody's willing to admit.
I don't disagree that guys forget. That doesn't make it any less stupid.
No, sure.
It doesn't.
You
make
cutting
it
him tomorrow
anymore? No, he's a good player.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that's
what I'm saying.
Again, this is like I know your point about calling it a special teams play. This is not a guy who's never on the field. He's one of your better offensive players who's out there a lot, who presumably has some situational awareness, who just went.
He's going to be
brain
remembered
dead.
for that play.
I will be, God willing, 80-something years old, watching football on a Thanksgiving weekend, and that play's coming up.
100% that replay will come up.
See it again.
I've been watching replays of the reaction videos on TikTok literally all morning. That's like what I've been doing. Dude sitting on their couch, just in total disbelief. Old guys in somewhere in New Hampshire or whatever. Just can't believe what's going on. It's been fantastic.
You want it right now?
Yes, right now.
I only do it because I like you.
Yeah. I want to
hear
here it
I
comes.
know it's coming.
Yep, that's coming.
Hold on. We're World Cup champions, and I want the trophy, and I want a ribbon, and I want a cake, and I want all my friends to have a sleepover, and I want it now. And Messi's mother, in this particular stuff, now Messi, you've earned it. And they'd have a little party, and they'd bring their sleeping bags, and it'd have Garfield and Lightning McQueen, and everybody would have a
Lightning
wonderful party.
McQueen.
Yeah.
I just wanted to be noted that honorable Mexican Jorge is in here rocking the albiceleste with the most pride I've ever seen a non-Argentinian, non-Barca fan rock.
Alan knows why.
Yeah, he's got a cool
I
story.
know why.
Alan knows
He's got a
what's
cool
up.
story
I'm just
about
saying, he came in here acting like he might as well have been born in Buenos Aires. I mean, that was the impression I had
a little
when he
too
walked
far.
in.
I got to say,
Okay.
that Emily's
All right.
pronunciation was better than yours.
Of what, Buenos Aires?
Yes.
Okay.
It sounded a little better.
Emily's from Argentina.
Yes.
She's originally.
I was like, are we competing
dad.
on accents
Yes,
now?
I am. I'm scoring everything all the time.
Well, maybe you should tune into the show and you might learn how to say the name of the country. Hey, just joking.
Huh?
You should watch the games, then you know how to say the words.
But I don't want to.
Exactly. That's why. Never mind.
That doesn't interest me
That's
at all.
why it's not that
It
impressive,
sounds-
because those of us who watch the soccer know how to say the words.
But you didn't. She did.
No, we
Mason
both
and
said-
Ireland coming up next. We'll see you
How
tomorrow.
would you know?